Wolf Pack, what is going on? It's your boy, the Wolf of RoastStreetJournal.com. We breed and feed you fantasy wolves. Here with your week 8 sit start show. Come on in, get all those midpoint questions. We are halfway done. I can't believe it that we're already this far into the season. Wins are as crucial as ever, whether you're climbing the ranks to get that bye, whether you're trying to eke into the playoffs, whether you just want to avoid last place. You always need that W. So your boy is here to help you answer every single sit start that you got. We already have a bunch before getting live. You love to see it. So come on in, get those in. Hoping CJay will be on here soon enough. I know he was watching the premiere game or something, so we will see. But either way, we'll start off as we always do with our Thursday night football recap. As you guys are getting in here, thumbs up button does really help us grow. Get out to more people, like, shares, all that good stuff. It's a good free way to support your boys for doing this show. And, of course, if you want to super chat it, my man Campanelli's in the mod seat. He'll be watching that, and you can cut the line and support your boys that way too. So thanks again for being here. Come on in. Let's talk real quick about that Thursday night football game. Gabe Davis absolutely explodes. What an annoying prospect. 12 targets, 9 catches, 87, and a touchdown. Season highs and pretty much everything. Certainly the targets and the catches. It sucks. It's hard. You never know when these type of games are going to happen. It seems like it's always on prime time after you've benched him is when you're going to get these Gabe Davis type of explosions. So you have to just watch it every single second of it. But yeah, that was rough. I had him a little bit lower in the rankings. I didn't recommend him too many times. So something just to consider, though. I think partly maybe Dawson Knox being out, the move to more 3 wide receiver sets, a little bit more opened up offense in general. I think this is going to be a good thing. Josh Allen, over 30 points in most leagues there, 324 yards, 2 touchdowns, in addition to a rushing touchdown and 41 yards on the ground, was running a bit more than we've seen in recent games. So that was good to see, spreading the field wide again. Khalil Shakir getting in for 6 catches on his 6 targets, 92 yards. It just looked like a much more competent offense. And let's not forget Dalton Kincaid, 7 targets, 5 catches, 65, and a score, coming off an 8-catch, 75-yard day. His first game without Dawson Knox goes swimmingly. So great to see your Bills looking really, really good, looking like a high-powered offense that we've come to know and love. And Gabe Davis, Khalil Shakir, Kincaid all rising with Josh Allen going up. The only real Bucs note, they played well. We had 20 points out of Baker Mayfield. You couldn't ask for much more there. You got your garbage Mike Evans touchdown late, bailing people out. Rashad White, though, another well over 80% of the snaps, a ton of routes, 60, 75% to there. Almost every single rush, just 8 snaps going to, Chase Edmonds. So ultimately, we had another workhorse day for White, who's starting to show a little bit more juice than he had early, at least as a receiver. 7 catches, 70 yards through the air, in addition to 9 carries, 39 yards. He was a common question we had on Thursday, and in half in full PPR, we ended up recommending him in a lot of situations. So hopefully you got him on in there and he came through for you there. That kind of wraps up everything I wanted to talk about with the Thursday night football recap. Let's dive in now to some news that you need to know before we get to your questions. It could inform what you might ask. I know you're here to get your stuff answered. I'm going to get there as fast as I can. It'll take about 10 minutes or so to get through this. Week 8 news, quarterbacks. Brock Purdy, he was questionable, and the first player of the entire year to clear concussion protocol in the same week that he was landed in there. He's going to be playing. That definitely boosts up all your 49ers, much more trustworthy. Brandon Ayuk with no Debo, George Kittle with no Debo. Both of them see huge marks up. It also, conversely, makes your Bengals a little bit more intriguing, that this game will stay competitive, that this game could shoot out. I think this one has some sneaky upside, certainly if you're targeting it on the DFS slate. Not a lot of people on this game. That is a very vulnerable 49ers defense after giving up 378 passing yards. So I think Burrow, even T. Higgins after such a disappointing start, this is an offense that you can get back into. And I think Purdy on the other side make sure that this game continues to flow. Justin Fields will not play tonight against the Chargers. We'll see how the product of Shepherd University, Tyson Badgett, performs in his second start. He got the W last week. Actually looked pretty confident. The boys seem to really want to play for him. I still have full faith in DJ Moore, who had a whopping 35% target share, even without Justin Fields in the lineup. Kyler Murray, doubtful for week 8 against the Ravens. So we're not going to see him this week, but he did practice in full. Seems like we're trending towards a week 9 at latest week 10 debut. last call to go check your waiver wires. He's still out there in about half of leagues, and we know historically he's never finished below quarterback 10 in fantasy points per game, 18 or more average in every single season, far more often over 20 points per game. He can be a fantasy juggernaut. Ryan Tannehill ruled out. We're going to have Will Levis starting for him, but they did mention Malik Willis might mix in as well. You're hopefully not starting these guys, but just an intriguing storyline to see how does Will Levis look. Can he somehow unlock a bit more upside? Because right now, everything's been so low ceiling in this offense. Hopkins is getting a ton of targets that just have been so low quality. So maybe this could be an interesting move as they turn the youth movement too. The trade rumors are rumbling about maybe Tannehill, maybe Derrick Henry, maybe even DeAndre Hopkins. Maybe they're going to move all these aging veterans, Tajay Spears, Traylon Burks. Some of these younger products make some interesting stashes right now with Tennessee seeming like they could commit to this youth movement. Last quarterback note is Daniel Jones will be out there, reportedly, according to Schefter, eyeing a Week 10 return. So we should see him in a couple weeks. Ultimately, it's probably a good thing for fantasy that Daniel Jones is out right now because this offense has been significantly better with Tyrod Taylor operating the show. They seem to be finding their footing. Tough week to trust any Giants pass catchers other than probably, of course, Darren Waller, who's a tight end 5 in fantasy. Been thriving these last few weeks, especially with Tyrod there. So I do enjoy they're facing the Jets. That's the one thing, though. You don't really want to trust any of these wide receivers there. Saquon, meanwhile, most target share allowed to running backs is the Jets. So that is some good stuff to note. Week 8 news, running backs. Zack Moss did not practice Friday. He was reportedly going to test it out in pregame warmups to see how he's feeling, but the positivity is currently circling around him that he is going to play. He plans to play barring a setback. So could have been the way to open up the door for a Jonathan Taylor explosion. Not quite this week, unfortunately. So it does. I wonder, though, maybe that injury, maybe he does take the backseat and just kind of in a case of emergency type of running back. I do think Taylor should still have a little bit more of a increase after a 55-45 split. Last time, maybe we start seeing that creep up to 60 to even 70 with Moss. Number 2 in rushing right now, which is insane. But ultimately, maybe this is the opening that we needed from for Jonathan Taylor to really take off and hit that massive ceiling of his. David Montgomery is going to be out on Monday. We saw last week Jahmyr Gibbs become an 86% snap player, put up over 20 fantasy points. It was the guy we were hoping to get when we were taking him in round 3. So good to see that he can have another big game. Obviously tough to see for David Montgomery, but they have the bye coming up next week. So that would be a situation. It makes sense. We all kind of expected this. I do kind of like buying low on David Montgomery because he's always a threat for 2 to 3 touchdowns every time he's out there. Right now, he's banged up. So, yeah, I like David Montgomery. He makes a lot of sense. Aaron Jones, removed from the Week 8 injury report. He's going to play against the Vikings. I love that he's off the injury report. I still have a little bit of hesitancy, but the fact that he's at least as healthy as he's been since Week 1 gives me a little bit more optimism that after last week, out-snapped, out-touched by A.J. Dillon, I'm guessing this swings back into his favor. So I did bump him up a spot or 2 in the rankings. Still, if you have any questions on Aaron Jones, let us know. He's not a must start like he typically is. Still want to see him get fully going in an actual game, not just off the practice reports. Raheem Mostert is going to play. They did say they want to get Jeff Wilson some more touches. We'll see what happens there. I think the game script should call for it against the Patriots. They should be blowing them out and then get Jeff Wilson some late burn. But hey, we saw the Pats upset the Bills last week. Maybe they're just finding their ground here. We will find out. I expect in Miami, where they have always struggled, though, the Pats are going to get smoked. Kareem Hunt off the injury report, but Jerome Ford also shockingly questionable to play and intends to play in Week 8 versus the Seahawks. This is a tricky one because they do play at 4:25 on the West Coast there in Seattle. So you're not going to know till after a lot of teams have already kicked off. A lot of your backup plans might already be gone. I still think Kareem Hunt makes a worthy running back too. Now he's a little bit of a lower end running back too, rather than had he been the starter, but he's got back-to-back 15-point days, even with Jerome Ford there. I imagine Hunt's going to see the majority of the work. It's good to see that Ford, it's not going to linger and potentially, again, even startable. I do have Hunt a couple spots higher than Ford, but both these guys, solid backs. It's a middle-of-the-road matchups against Seattle, nothing to run away from, nothing to target. So I like this run game always. I think they can get it done. I would lean Hunt over Ford, but both guys potentially playable. Let us know if you have questions on either of those guys. Again, surprising news that we are going to have Jerome Ford likely on the field. But again, 4 o'clock, we won't find out for a long time. The final word there. In that same game, Kenneth Walker was removed from the injury report, as was Zach Charbonnet. I did want to ultimately play or rather highlight Zach Charbonnet as a elite handcuff. He's still out there. About 70% of leagues right now got dropped after his hamstring injury. We weren't rostering this guy to use him at all. It's as the fact that he is one of the best handcuffs in the game. True 3-down skill set, talented runner, would have the exact role that Ken Walker's in. That's made him the running back 3 in fantasy so far this year. So I do really like Zach Charbonnet on benches, especially in a week like this, where it's kind of the overall talking point I just wanted to hit. And let us know if you have questions on stashes and handcuffs and that stuff, because you have every team at your disposal. We don't need those wide receiver 5s and 6s in our lineups on our benches right now. We'd rather maximize our bench with as much upside as we possibly can. So stashing these talented running backs that are an injury away from being everybody's going to blow all their money on it, that's more valuable use of our bench space this week in a week where you have every single team at your disposal. So the Tajay Spearses, the Charbonnets, even like Tank Bigsby, Rico Dowdle, those are the type of guys we should be loading our bench with, since we don't probably need those plug-in starters quite this week. And the last report was that Derrick Henry isn't being shopped, but they are listening to offers. He's being shopped. I think this is going to be, and they should be wisely turning the keys over to the youth movement there in Tennessee. So just something to check there. I would love to see him. A lot of the speculation going to the Ravens. Oh, that would be a beautiful spot. His rumblings, the Bills might be interested, so James Cook would be RIP. If that happened, the Ravens are obviously the most needy. Could see something getting done there on a team that is looking really dangerous right now. That could be a huge addition. Moving to wide receiver, less notes there. Tyreek Hill, after that Wednesday scare, he's going to be a full go. Nothing to be afraid of. Obviously, you're starting Tyreek Hill. You don't need much more encouragement, but good to know he's ready to roll. Tyler Lockett expected to play today. It is a really tough matchup against the Browns. Plus, it is a 4 o'clock game, so there is that risk. What if something happens between now and kickoff and you don't have a backup plan? I have him pretty low in the rankings. He hasn't even been that great this year, Tyler Lockett. So let us know if you have a question on him. But between the tough matchup, the late kickoff, the injury, I don't love Tyler Lockett this week. Deontay Johnson removed from the Steelers' Week 8 injury report against the Jags. So that is just a quick note that we were worried on Thursday. He just kind of popped up out of nowhere. But it must have just been a day of rest, some veteran maintenance. I think he is somebody you can get your money's worth. I think it did look true, though, that George Pickens has taken over as the number 1 over in that offense at this point. So we'll see how week 2 goes for him this week. Josh Palmer tonight is questionable against the Bears, similar to that Browns game we were talking about earlier. This one actually kicks off even later at 8 p.m. So this is a big risk to wait it out. He's been great, Josh Palmer, as the clear-cut number 2, earning tons and tons of volume. But ultimately, we got to be wary of this late kickoff, a late rule out. I don't know what's going on with CJ's computer, so I'm just going to remove him there. Ultimately, it is optimistic that he plays, and more optimistic that he plays than Gerald Everett. So we will see. Who knows exactly how that's going to go. But something to check, something to monitor as we get into the week. Michael Thomas, also, this one popped up right as we were going live. Michael Thomas is questionable to play in Week 8 against the Colts. So it's an illness. It popped up this morning. Something to monitor. Apparently, he got some symptoms last night. Something to definitely check here. I like Chris Olave already. I was higher on Chris Olave this week, +5 ECR, only 6,400 on DraftKings. I think this could be a sneaky play, sneaky spot to smash him, given the Colts are so bad against wide receivers. They would have a massive coming out party for Olave, and this is the time you could somehow get him before today's blow up. I would say buy low as fast as you can. Adam Schefter says Robert Woods is expected to miss 2 to 3 weeks. Even more stability for guys like Nico Collins, Tank Dell, who I love today. I wrote about him if you want to get some more detail on the website. Both guys in great spots because the Panthers rank dead last in pressure rate. CJ Stroud, as every quarterback, does benefit greatly from a clean pocket, but his splits are significant, so dramatic how much better both Tank Dell and Nico Collins, almost 2.5 more yards per route run, more efficiency, and they're dead last, the Panthers in press rate, which is huge for Tank Dell as well. So I'm throwing Tank Dell right back in the lineup, 6 spots ahead of the ECR there. Of course, you're starting Nico Collins as well. I love them both in DraftKings. They're appropriately priced, but I think they also have a significant upside to smash. And I'm kind of building around CJ Stroud today myself. Brandon Johnson, on the injured reserve. Who's Brandon Johnson? He's on the Broncos. But the only reason this actually matters is because maybe this is just one less obstacle now Marvin Mims has to climb. We know Jerry Jeudy on the trade block rumors here. And so if Brandon Johnson's also removed and Jerry Jeudy gets traded, there's nothing in Marvin Mims' way at this point. We know at this point, I've said it many times on our waiver wire shows, only behind Tyreek Hill right now in yards per route run, elite efficiency, like 9 of the 10 biggest plays for the Broncos have come to Mims, even though he's a 30% snap player. This kid's elite. This kid, elite is we got to wait and see, but elite efficiency on his minimal usage so far. I would love to see him get a full-time role. He's been dropped in a ton of leagues. This is the type of guy, again, contingency upside that we're talking about in a week like this. You don't need to start him. You have a full 16 teams at your disposal. Start Marvin Mims, put him on your bench, hold on to him for this trade deadline. Let's see what happens. Last couple notes here for tight end, and then it's on to all of your questions. About 30 of you here, Wolfpack. Please do consider hitting that thumbs up, a nice free way to help your boys out, continue to grow the channel. If you're new as well, consider subscribing. We'd love to have you as we climb towards 4K, maybe even 5K this season. We're getting 10, 20, 30 every week. It's awesome. We love to have you here. Please do consider helping your guys out with that free thumbs up button. Help us grow. We rely on you guys. Thank you. Tight end news, Darren Waller, questionable. It does seem like he's going to be playing. The Jets are much better against receivers than tight ends, but I do worry they might shadow Darren Waller with Gardner or something of that nature. He typically doesn't shadow, but they don't really have anything else for them to worry about. It is a great pass defense either way. So I still like Darren Waller. Something to monitor for sure is that hammy, but I am expecting him to play. I don't think we've gotten final word quite yet, but it seemed optimistic there. Taysom Hill, questionable against the Colts, was officially deemed probable as of this morning. The only issue there is Juwan Johnson, who's also removed from the injury report. Now, we've seen Taysom Hill. I talked about him on the waiver wire show. Career highs in routes run in back-to-back weeks, 8 targets, 6 targets, goal line carries. It was some of the better usage you could ask for, 9 opportunities in back-to-back games, tight end 6 finishes in back-to-back games. It is a little bit riskier, though, with Juwan Johnson. Is Taysom Hill going to run those routes, or are they going to hand them back over to their lead pass-catching tight end? I imagine they do, which has me bumping down Taysom Hill just a little bit entering today, but still has that upside for a touchdown like any given week for him. And Luke Musgrave hasn't been practicing throughout this week. I believe he participated in the walkthrough Friday. Do you really need to wait it out for Musgrave of all people? I don't think so. So ideally, you can find another option like Trey McBride, still out there in 80% of leagues right now, 87% rather. So go look for Trey McBride if you need a fill-in. Zach Ertz is on the IR, hyper-athletic tight end behind only Travis Kelce right now in yards per route run. I can't wait to see him get a full-time role here. 90 catches and 1,100 yards in college. The kid can shoulder passing games. And in the defensive front, it sounds like Jalen Ramsey is going to play this week. Jair Alexander is truly questionable. Andrew Thomas is doubtful for the Giants. We'd love to see him back, but still not yet. Alrighty, Wolfpack. That wraps up all the news. Hopefully that helped you form your questions. It does look like we have a super chat to kick things off. Thank you so much, Anthony Fella, constantly supporting your boy here. It really means so much for you guys. Freeway is that thumbs up button. If you guys don't have the means to support us this way, but if you have it, it's greatly appreciated anytime you can do this. So what's up, Wolfpack? Start one, full PPR, Calvin Ridley, Romeo Doubs, or Darrell Henderson. This is a tough one. I tweeted out earlier this weekend that Calvin Ridley seems to be just like fancy Gabe Davis. And in all honesty, Gabe Davis has more top 12 or the same amount of top 12 games, more top 24 games, and more fantasy points per game. So that tells you what Calvin Ridley kind of is. It's a lesser Gabe Davis at this point. He's been getting open. He just isn't seeing the targets because Christian Kirk has those higher percentage, more yak opportunities. It's too bad because we saw Ridley with that 30-point ceiling. Now, when I'm looking at these options, though, Henderson, bad matchup with the Cowboys. Don't love him. I believe Myles Gaskin could get activated today. Another interesting stash, by the way. If you're intrigued, looking for a potential fill-in, I could see him taking over that backfield. I don't like Henderson. I have Henderson. I put him on my bench. Yes, 20 opportunities last week, 60% of the snaps. I get it, but this matchup is scary. The highest they've given up was James Conner in 18.5 points in week 2. But other than that, Christian McCaffrey, 12, Saquon, 8. This defense has held elite running back ones to under 12 points. Why would we expect Darrell Henderson, who didn't look great? I'm benching him where I have him personally. So he's crossed off for me. I like Romeo Doubs' matchup against the Vikings. He's the safest here. You're going to get 10 to 12 out of him. I still have a hard time going him over Ridley, even though the floor is significantly lower with Calvin Ridley. You also have that 30-point upside. We've seen it. And so similar to what we saw with Gabe Davis this last week, I'd rather just ride that. And if it loses me my week, damn, but he could also win you the week. So unless you're a significant favorite, 20-point favorite, and you just want the guaranteed points of Dobbs, I would go Calvin Ridley here. Anthony Fella is how I feel about this one. Thank you so much for the super chat. We greatly appreciate it. It looks like that is all we have for now. So we will move on to our call-in with Mr. Campanelli. Ooh, I clicked the double click here. How are we doing today, brother?
Doing well. How are you today, Wolf?
Doing well. Moving a little slow today. Had a fun Halloween party last night at one of the wife's friends. We didn't go home till like 1 a.m. The last time I've stayed up till that late. It's been a long time. I'll tell you that.
It's called
feeling all right. I'm doing good, but it's definitely gonna be like a lay and red zone bed day type of day today. That's for sure.
All good. So I'm gonna throw this one at you. At flex, I have Kareem Hunt starting right now, but would you start Hunt, Henderson, Curtis Samuel, or Cam Akers?
Ooh. So I think I stick with Kareem Hunt there. Ultimately, you heard my take against Henderson. I don't like the matchup. I know he's probably the lead guy, but the Dallas Cowboys matchup scares me. Akers does really intrigue me. Green Bay is a good spot. Second most points allowed to backs. He looked like he had more juice. I think he's going to be taking that backfield over. So I love rostering Akers. If I don't have to start him, I won't. And I do think even with Ford coming back potentially today, surprisingly, I think they're going to still ride Kareem Hunt. He's been the guy through practice this week. He's been practicing in full. I think Ford is probably there as more in case of if something happens to Hunt, at least we have our main guy here. So I would go Hunt. I still feel okay because even with Ford there, he's been getting 15 points in back-to-back weeks. He had the touches of receptions and touchdowns on lock, the most valuable touches in a backfield. So I still ride that one myself. But Akers does very much intrigue me. I wouldn't be shocked at all if he ends up taking that role over for your team soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Wolf. Much appreciated.
Best of luck, Campanelli. Thanks for always being here. We love having you every Sunday, my man. All righty. We will move through these questions. Thanks again, Wolfpack. About 40 here now. The audience is growing. Love to see it. Please do again. Consider that thumbs up button. Keep helping us get out to more people. Consider hitting that subscribe if you're new around here. And I see a lot of new names here. I love to see it. Thank you, guys. Hopefully you're still here with us as we answer these. Aiden Vilmanian, Singletary or Rashee Rice? I got to go Rashee Rice at this point. He consistently has seen his role grow. He gets a Broncos pass defense that, they're better against receivers than any other position. They're most points allowed to tight ends, most points allowed to running backs. They're still not good against receivers. And Rice, 3 straight, I believe, 12 or more points in PPR leagues, half PPR, a little bit less, but still having a great role. Good red zone chemistry, and Mahomes just raves about the kid each and every day he gets the chance. So I like Rashee Rice here. I am a big fan of Singletary. I like stashing him right now. And it is a good matchup against the Panthers. Second most points allowed to running backs, most touchdowns. I could see Singletary definitely getting in, and I do think his backfield takeover happens today. I'm glad you brought him up, Aiden, because he's still out there in 80% of leagues right now. Go get Singletary, even if you don't need to start him. Put him on the bench. But I'm a big fan of Devin Singletary as a bench stash, whereas I'd much rather play Rashee Rice instead of him. So I would go there. It does look like we got another super chat, so let me find that one and pull that up. Thank you so much, Frosty. Making me kind of want a beer to take away this pain of last night. Frosty. Morning. Half point PPR. Tight end Laporta or Hawkinson, and flex Ayuk, Pickens, or Garrett Wilson. I got to go Hawkinson, and we've seen the role without Justin Jefferson this year. It's been massive. He had 11 catches last night. I know that's a bit more valuable in full PPR, but the touchdowns are going to come. I mean, he's 6'5". He's always had a solid red zone presence there for Hawkinson. So positive regression plus that target hog role. As much as I love Laporta and he's got some upside and the Raiders are a great matchup, I got to go Hawkinson there. In terms of the flex options, Ayuk, Pickens, or Wilson, love them all. I personally have Garrett Wilson in my lineup right now against the Giants. I think it's a great spot. And Adoree Jackson also might miss the game even better. I still got to go Ayuk. Games without Deebo Samuel. He's been a monster. We know Brock Purdy is going to be playing. I think that game has some real shootout potential there. The Bengals versus the 49ers, playoff style feel. I mean, that could be our Super Bowl if the Bengals can get everything right here. Fresh off the bye, I think the Bengals come out swinging. I think Brock Purdy and them fire back. We get ourselves a really fun game there. So I like targeting that game in general. I think Ayuk, I know the last couple of weeks have been disappointing, but I got to ride him. We saw what this kid can do in week 1, and especially with no Debo today. I feel better about him. So I'm going to go Brandon Ayuk and a list of great options, Frosty. That's where I lean. Let me know what you're thinking yourself. And thank you so much again for the support. Over 40 of you here. You love to see it. Please do again consider that thumbs up button, helping us to continue to grow. And like I said, new names here. You also love to see that. We'd love to have you keep coming back for the waiver show, for our preview show, for our Thursday night hits. We got all that good stuff, and we'd love to have you here, Wolfpack. Dell or Hunt for the flex. Whew, now that Ford's playing, this would have been Kareem Hunt no matter what, right? Now that we got Ford likely playing, and as good as I feel about Tank Dell, I think we're getting a 20-point Tank Dell day. 2 of his last 3 games that he fully made it through were 20-point days. The game he got hurt, he had 6 points in the first quarter. I really thought he was about to blow up. We talked about him a little bit earlier, too, that the Panthers have the lowest pressure rate in the NFL and how damn good CJ Stroud has been when he has that clean pocket. As every quarterback does, it makes sense, but he has very dramatic splits. And so and specifically Tank Dell has those splits. It makes sense because he can get deep open on the field. The route can develop more. I love Tank Dell. I think he's a great play today. I like the Texans in general to just put points up on this bad Panthers defense. They're a horrible run D, but that shouldn't overshadow the fact that they have a pretty bad pass D too. So I like Tank Dell there. Tito 1474. Krana, great to see you. Favorite candy since Halloween's coming up. It's a Twix for Krana, followed by Snickers and Reese's. It's funny. I was actually having this talk with my nephew last night. What's his favorite candy bar? He has Twix as well as his. I like Milky Way myself, though, Krana. I like the cookie of Twix. Don't get me wrong. Twixes are delicious. Something about just the smoothness of just the nugget and the caramel there together. I lean that one. I'm a big fan of that. But I also, if I'm going away from chocolate, I love the purple Skittles. The wild berry Skittles, A+. You can't get better than those. So those are my favorite for sure. And if I'm going Reese's, it's got to be Easter egg Reese's during April. Something about the egg size, it's just perfect consistency there. Krana, Goddard, Garrett Wilson, Rice, Ridley, and Ayuk are my 2. So we need one of these. Ridley and Ayuk are my 2 receivers. See here, I would consider Garrett Wilson ahead of Ridley by a long shot. So I'm tossing Ridley into the flex conversation over Garrett Wilson. Ridley versus Rashee Rice is very interesting to me. Rice is much safer, not as high of a ceiling. I actually kind of want to go Rashee Rice over Calvin Ridley at this point. So I'm leaning Rashee Rice for that one, Krana. Watson or Higgins. Hey, you're alive. What's up, CJ?
It's working.
You kept logging in. It was like showing what looked like a Mercedes-Benz logo, and it wasn't you. So what the hell is happening here?
Who knows?
Are you doing okay? Are you alive over there?
Donate to the laptop fund, everybody.
Yeah, clearly in desperate need at this point. So definitely some super chats would be greatly appreciated if you want to help support your boy CJ over here with the laptop fund. All right, we're on Krana's Watson or Higgins. If you need to take it off, CJ, too, I totally get it. I got this thing ripping, but it looks like you're good to go at this point.
No, I'm good.
I was going to try to text you, but I've just been ripping it. So
I know. I've been sending you pictures of the thing I keep getting. I don't know what that was. So.
Yeah, I had no idea. I was like the Illuminati. It looked fucking weird, dude. I was creeped out with what was coming up. But yeah, Watson, Higgins, PPR. Oof, tough. Both underwhelming so far this year. I'm leaning Higgins, though. I talked about coming out of the bye, how I think we're going to have a healthier Bengals offense. I like that game, especially with Brock Purdy now and on the other side. So I'm leaning Higgins when we're talking 2 boom or bust receivers. I'd rather go with the one playing with Joe Burrow. What about you?
Yeah, it seems like he's healthy this week.
Yeah. Me and Truth, when we did our Thursday show, we kept going Higgins. Yeah. What's that?
It said he was like playing more under center during practice. He seems healthy this week. So
yeah. So I think Burrow's fully back. I think Higgins is as healthy as he's going to be. I for whatever reason I think Higgins is going to have a big day today. So I go Higgins there. Eagles versus Jets defense. I kind of like the Jets getting the Giants, getting Tyrod Taylor. Eagles get the Commanders though. Actually, I'm going to go Eagles. Most sacks allowed in the league by a long shot against the best defensive line in the league. They're going to kill them.
I think the Commanders might win this week.
No.
I have like a weird feeling about that.
That's
mark it down for everybody who does Survivor. Commanders this week.
That's as god awful to take as I've heard, CJ. As Campanelli agrees.
No,
they lose by double digit.
That's what he does. I guarantee CJ guarantee lock Commanders this week.
Oh God. So clearly CJ is not healthy. We might have to remove him from the rest of the show. Send him home packing. He needs a sick day over here, folks. If he's if he's recommending them, yeah, I go Eagles over the Jets. But they're both in my top 4 there. Chrono. Alrighty, CJ, can you kind of see the questions from here?
Yeah.
All
So we're going Giuseppe. Happy Sunday, my guys. Do I start Carr, Gino, or Dobbs? And then also Kittle or Laporta?
I go Kittle versus Laporta is tricky with no Debo. I probably stick with Laporta. He's just been more consistent, but Kittle's in a great spot too. And the Bengals are actually pretty bad against tight ends. A top 5 matchup for Kittle. I like them both. That is a situation where you could consider going double tight end if you can flex Kittle as well. I go Carr over these other quarterbacks as well. I really like Carr against Indy today. I really like Olave in general. Carr's got back-to-back 300-yard days, 105 attempts in his last 2 games. We talked about him on higher, lower Hail Mary. He was my Hail Mary quarterback. I just don't like the Geno spot against a good Cleveland defense. I don't like Dobbs. So, his Cinderella story seems like it's all but wrapped up at this point. So I'm going Derek Carr, just safe and similar ceiling to these guys.
Yeah,
do you feel similarly? Yeah. We actually missed one for Krana. This one I had pulled up. So he has all these options on wide receiver 3, all these shitty options, I should say. I agree. You should definitely just chug the Oktoberfest. I would probably go Reynolds actually over. Wandale did nothing. It's against the Jets. I don't like that matchup. Reynolds has been fairly steady. He's clearly keeping that role over Jameson Williams. They've talked a lot about how Williams is just not a good fit right now. They don't have the chemistry with him and Goff and the overall offense right now. He's such a great talent that I hope that ends up working out. But for now, Reynolds seems to me to be the safest play. It's not a scary secondary against the Raiders at all. I would actually lean Reynolds here over the other options. What do you think?
Yeah, these all stink. I have to go Reynolds here. The other ones are just...
Yeah, I'd go Reynolds there, yeah. All right, you got the next one?
Giuseppe T. Higgins or Tank Dell? Your guy.
I'm going to go Dell. I'm going to go my guy, Tank Dell. I know I've talked about Higgins having that return, that big blow-up game, but we've seen far more from Tank Dell, which is just crazy to say this year. I really like Tank Dell's spot against the Panthers today. So I'm going to go Dell over Higgins.
Yeah, I'm with you there too. You talked me to Tank Dell this week. Another Giuseppe Sutton, DeMarcado, or Singletary. I have to go Sutton.
I like Sutton here. It's a tough matchup against the Chiefs, but he's been really good this year. He's been the clear-cut number 1. He's playing the Michael Thomas role in Peyton's offense, and he's doing really well with it. A good red zone threat too. We get a lot of Sutton questions every week, and I think people are just so scared of what we saw last year.
He's been okay.
He's been really good. I think he's been a top 24 receiver in like 5 of his 7 weeks. He's been a touchdown scorer. He's definitely the guy there this year, and that's why Jerry Jeudy is likely going to be on the move. So I go Sutton there. DeMarcado feels okay. 93% of the snaps last week, all but 1 rush.
Absurd.
Just as quickly as he was the feature back. The week before that, he didn't sniff like a touch. So I don't know. I have no idea.
He had the snaps like 2 weeks ago, but he just didn't have the touches.
He had like 1 target. Yeah. Keontae Ingram got like 10K. So I think DeMarcado's safer this week after a good week last week. I think he's an okay player too. But they are just been so wishy-washy in that backfield without Connor that if I don't have to trust it, I don't want to. And Sutton's a good reason not to.
Juan Pena, receiver 1 and 2 and flex. So 3 of these. Myers, Downs, Dubs, Lockett, Cooper, Samuel, Dell, AJ Dillon.
A lot of good options here. I forget if it's full PPR. I love Jacoby Myers. Consistently performs well, and especially when Garoppolo's in. So sign me up for 30% of the targets. Good red zone volume too. Myers is a baller. It sucks he's not on the Patriots anymore. And then it's just a bunch of guys in the same tier for me. I think I like Tank Dell and Josh Downs the most of all these other options, though. Myers is like a tier ahead, and then I go Downs and Tank Dell as my next 2. What about you, CJ?
Yeah, it's kind of a mess. I'd go Myers. Is Lockett playing? I saw
so he's questionable. He's expected to play, but they don't play till 4. So that is a risk. And honestly, he just hasn't even been that good out anyways. And the matchup's tough against Cleveland. So personally, I'm out on Lockett if I don't have to be in. And I think Tank Dell and Josh Downs are both good reasons to not be in. Downs in particular, they New Orleans is great against outside. Marshawn Lattimore having that comeback season. But they've been one of the most generous teams. I think it's 5th most points allowed to slots. It might even be more dramatic than that. And I know the discrepancy between outside and slots the biggest in the league with how much better they are against outside receivers and slots. So this is a good week for Josh Downs coming off a 25-point day. I really, really like him
Yeah, I like
for
that.
sure. All righty.
Almost
4,800 on DraftKings too. Good price.
Daddy Mateo revisiting my pile of RB2 slop. Gus, Madison, Chuba.
Oh, it's the slop. I think we got to go Gus. I love the matchup against Arizona. They've been getting bombed for the third, fourth most points against running backs. Gus coming off a 25-point day. I think Madison's turned the keys over to that backfield as early as today. And Chuba might be the starter there, but they said hot hand crap going on. Gus feels the safest. Good matchup. I'm listening. I'm leaning Gus there. What do you think?
I kind of like Madison to score this week.
No, it's Cam Akers' backfield.
I have a weird. I'm not like giving keys over to Cam Akers ever.
No, it's Cam Akers' backfield at this point. No Madison. He's
I'm
done.
going Madison. Sarno, morning boys, happy PPR pick one of these. Sutton, Pickens, Downs.
I like Pickens here. I mean, he really has seemingly taken over the alpha role. He's running more of those high percentage routes. With Deontay back last week, 10 targets, still led the team for George Pickens. So I was very encouraged by what we saw last week. Now, maybe that was just Johnson's first week back, easing him in, and he becomes a target hog like he always has today. But I really like Pickens in the way his role has evolved. So I'm leaning him. I really like all three of these guys, honestly, Sarno. They're all interesting plays. The backs, I hate. I really don't like the backs. So I'm not going there. I already got this one for Frosty, CJ.
Campanelli
just hit that before you got on.
Just popped in. I don't know.
Yeah, we got both of the super chats taken care of. While you find the next one, I'm going to go grab water real quick. Our man Campanelli is still watching those supers.
Campanelli's lying to us. Brent Estrella. Defense to start. Browns, Lions, Dolphins. All good options.
I would go. I like the Dolphins against the Pats.
I was going to say the Dolphins.
Dolphins at home. Pats have always struggled in Miami, even when they have Brady. Never mind this rendition of this god off. I mean, they just beat the Bills, so who knows? But I have very little faith that was more than
on everything that's gone. That the Patriots are not winning another game. That was the worst win in the history of the Patriots last week.
Yeah, I think Dolphins is the play there.
One receiver, one flex. Deontay, Mike Thomas, Aaron Jones, Josh Downs.
I would probably get Jones in here off the injury report. I know he's tricky to trust right now, but none of these options are overly enthused about. I would probably go Josh Downs over the other receivers. I feel he's got a nice safe floor compared to the others and a similar ceiling. So I'm going to go Josh Downs of those three. I'm going to double check my rankings too to make sure my rankings reflect that. But I feel really good about Josh Downs today.
Yeah, let's say him or Deontay as their probably choose between. But
yeah,
I'll go Downs. Mr. Toonberg. Pick one, full PPR, Dell, Dobbs, Ford, Judy, Spears.
Tank Dell. I like Tank Dell the most out of all these guys for sure.
Tunes again, happy PPR. Pick two of these, Dell, Downs, Pierce, London, Pickens.
The first two for me, Dell and Downs. Feel great about the rookies today. Firing them both up. Would you?
We should have ripped a Downs article this week.
I know, yeah, we could have found something for that. London, so London's an interesting one because he has been playing really well, Tunes. I just worry with Will Levis. Like, if Will Levis is great and he puts up a bunch of points, which I don't think is going to be the case, then London could have a smash. He's got the Tennessee wide receiver, like they're one of the best matches for receivers. But we know that if they can get up big, they're just going to want to run, and run more, even if it's not a good run matchup here. So I have a hard time trusting London just because of game flow. If they did get down, I could see London having a huge day. But it's just such a game flow specific wide receiver right now. So, yeah, I feel better about Dell and Downs, I think. Just a higher floor for both of them.
Pena, Laporta, or Schultz? Gotta go Laporta.
I'm bumping Downs ahead of Calvin Ridley as we've talked about him. Ooh. I know. Calvin Ridley's just fancy Gabe Davis at this point.
I did like that tweet yesterday.
it did pretty well. Okay, so Downs is now up to my wide receiver 31. I'm putting Tank Dell ahead of Calvin Ridley at this point. I'm officially doing it. Tank Dell. Okay, Laporta or Schultz. I got to go Laporta there. I know Schultz actually been back-to-back, tight end 6 or higher for 3 straight weeks. He's really started to cook here in this offense. But Laporta's been great all year. There's really no reason to go against him, away from him, especially in a good matchup. The Raiders are very generous to tight ends. So I got to go Sam Laporta there.
Of course. I don't think that's much of a conversation.
Yeah.
Richard B, need 2 flex, half PPR. Javonte, Tank Dell, Palmer. So 2 of these.
I would go Tank Dell and probably Javonte just because we don't know the deal with Palmer. They're optimistic he's going to play today, but that's the night game. And waiting it out till the night game, kind of risky at this point for a guy like Palmer when they're all similarly ranked for me. Javonte's not great either. The Kansas City defense is phenomenal. So Tank Dell's my favorite here. What do you think about Palmer versus Javonte?
Javonte did pretty well against the Chiefs last time out. I saw there's going to be a bunch of snow today. So I kind of do like Javonte. And I also have him, so I need him to get more than 9 points, which he's got me the entire season.
He does, eyeball test-wise, he's looking like as good as he's looked since he got hurt. So I really do like how he's playing.
Yeah, I go
Still often annoyingly involved. I'd probably go Dell and Javonte here, though, just because what if Palmer gets ruled out? What's your backup plan? Do you have a decent fallback, Richard? Maybe just avoid the situations since they're all close. We got about 50 of you here. Love to see that. Please do consider that thumbs up button to keep helping us grow. If you're new as well, would love you to join the Wolfpack. Subscribe. We go live multiple times a week. Waiver wires, previews, answering your sit starts. Love to have you here. Hit that live button or that sub button. Hit that bell so you know when we're live. Love to have you. Great to see 50 people here. Great crowd. So again, that thumbs up button. If you want to cut the rest of the crowd, Super Chat is the way to do that, and it really does help your boys. All right, back to Mr. Campanelli.
Need a wide receiver 3, Deontay or Curtis Samuel?
I got to go Deontay there. Curtis Samuel's questionable to play anyways. Now, the Eagles are a good slot matchup, 8th most fantasy points allowed to slot receivers specifically. So it is a good spot for Curtis Samuel. Had a good day against them. But I still think Deontay is just a head and shoulders above him as a talent, and this could be a week they start to really ramp him up.
I'm with you. Running back 2, Mixon, Henderson, Singletary, Warren.
I'd stick with Mixon here. I think he's definitely head and shoulders above them. I mean, he's been 75% or higher snaps in all the games. I get San Fran, scary matchup, but I like Mixon here. I think he's definitely better than these other options.
Scoring this week. Campanelli, flex, need 1 out of the remaining.
Oh, Warren, I guess. Who do they get? The Jags. That's a pretty good Monday.
Curtis Samuel. It's
and these running backs. I might actually go Curtis Samuel over these running backs then. But if it's the running backs, then I would go. I guess Henderson for the lead stuff. But yeah, gross. Don't like any of those guys. I like Chuba actually over all of them. Campanelli, who I know you just messaged us that you have. So I would go Chuba. He's probably going to start today. I don't know if that's officially been announced, but the beats were speculating that he was going to start today.
Pat Sullivan, morning guys. Happy PR. Need 2 of these: Higgins, Metcalf, Collins, Rice, or Bourne. I'll go first 2.
I love Nico Collins. I gotta go. What'd you say?
I was gonna say that myself.
Yeah, I go Nico Collins, my favorite, and then probably DK as the next, but they're all similarly tiered at this point. It's a tough matchup for wide receivers, but Lockett banged up. Metcalf had that week of rest. I'll probably go Nico Collins and DK Metcalf here.
That's what I was thinking myself. We're going Frosty, Hat PBR, Laporta, or Hawkinson, and then IU, Pickens, or Garrett Wilson.
Oh, this was the we already got a super chat for this one, but just as a reminder, Frosty, I said Hawkinson and I said Ayuk. Would you agree with that one, CJ?
Yeah, I gotta go Hawkinson, and then I feel like Ayuk seems a lot at this point.
Yeah, he's actually been like sneaky not great these last few weeks, like 9, 10, 11. But it's like we've seen those blow ups and no Debo, potential shootout type of game. I'm into Ayuk today for sure.
Steve Hernandez, good morning. Mostert or Collins? Gotta go Mostert.
Yeah, he smashed the Patriots last time out. 2 touchdowns, 100 yards. I was there, and we had nothing, no answers for him. Nico's great too, but yeah, it's the running back too in fantasy. And until a chain is back, I'm riding Mostert.
Yeah, I'm with you. Fitz, let's do this. My team, because of injuries, has gone straight to hell. My question is the second flex PPR. Tajay, Royce Freeman, Jerry Judy, Tutu. Start 2 of these.
Team from hell. Oh, we gotta have 2 of these guys in? Good God. Yeah, team is indeed in hell. I'd probably go Tajay as one of them, just because I think they're kind of turning the keys over to the youth here. Unless they're trying to showcase Derrick Henry for a trade, which could totally be
probably go Judy, I think, as the second one.
As similarly the showcase for a trade kind of narrative here. Yeah, because Tutu, you're counting on a bomb. It could happen. It has been happening, but I don't want to bank on that. And Royce Freeman's garbage. So yeah, I'm gonna go Tajay and Jerry Judy. Yeah.
What's his name? Bill Jagir, question on behalf of Bryce Jagir. Have PPR, need a receiver and a flex. Sutton, Eli Moore, JSN, Warren. I'm a JSN guy this week. Again.
Really? Even with like Lockett and Metcalf back?
They may not be back.
I'm going Sutton there. I think Sutton's clearly above these other options. Bryce Jagir's first words, Cortland Sutton.
The bearded RN. Hey, Wolf, Hollywood, or Devonta?
I got to go Devonta. I know he's been disappointing, but this is a really, really bad Washington Commanders secondary now. And we got a super chat we're going to pop to right in a second. Thank you, Kevin, for pointing that out. I did see a stat that the Commanders run the second most man coverage, and A.J. Brown gets targeted 50% of the time in man. So it is A.J. Brown. He's my number 1 receiver this week. A.J. Brown, absolute smash spot. I had 40 points against these guys last time out. I expect another by one. But this is the second time around facing each other, and you could see, now that they have the game tape, this is how this guy destroyed us. I could see them selling out to stop A.J. Brown, and then Devonta sneaking in for a big day. So I know how underwhelming he's been. This is too good of a spot, though. Meanwhile, we're seeing Marquise Brown kind of trend the opposite direction. All righty, we got a super chat from that boy OD. Thank you.
PPR start 3 this week. So sit one of these. Saquon, Gibbs, Walker, Pollard.
A lot of good options here. Honestly, I mean, is Pollard the sit here? He's just been so underwhelming. The Cowboys in general are really underwhelming. I can't sit Saquon. Good matchup. The Jets are great pass defense, great against receivers, but they're bottom 8 in points allowed to running backs. And in particular, they allow a lot of receiving to running backs. The highest target share allowed to running backs in the league right now are the Jets. So I love Saquon today. He really thrived last week with Tyrod there. He just looked like he had that juice back. So Saquon, I have the highest of these at running back 4. Gibbs is my running back 6. He's the next up. And then it does come down to Walker versus Pollard. I guess I go Pollard fresh off the bye. The work has been there. He just hasn't fully converted on a lot of it. So I'm going to go Pollard over Walker. Man, you got 4 good running backs. We don't typically see teams this stack. So if you can, there's got to be somebody in your league you can move Walker and a receiver and get like A.J. Brown type of situation, See what you can do. But yeah.
Is Walker definitely playing?
Yeah, Walker's off the injury report. He's fully good to go.
So I saw with calf injuries that it's like a 75% chance they don't play.
No, he's in. He's not even on the injury report this week. So, but I do love Charbonnet. He's out there in a bunch of leagues. I think it's a great handcuff to have on your bench. So yeah, we're benching Walker there. That boy, OD. He's my running back 12. So I mean, still a great option. But Cleveland, good defense in general. A reason to shy away from him, I guess, if you have those other good options.
Another thank you for the 5, Gabrielle. 12 PPR. Collins, Devonta, Harris, and Singletary start 2 of these.
I'm guessing it's Gabriel, CJ. Great pronunciation over there. I'm guessing Nicole is Nico Collins, and I would definitely go him. I'd go the 2 receivers here, assuming that you can do both receivers. Like I talked about, you kind of probably already heard me, Gabriel, talking about Devonta Smith and how, yes, A.J. Brown, absolute smash spot, 40 points against this team last time out. But what if they use that film to then sell out against A.J. Brown, and then Devonta sneaks in for the big day? It's just a bad defense in general, one you want to target. But then Nico Collins, great spot. We talked about how C.J. Stroud is performing so well, but especially when he has a clean pocket and no team has a lower pressure rate than the Carolina Panthers, lowest press coverage rate as well. Both Nico and Tank Dell thrive in these type of matchups. So I love Nico Collins. I love Devonta Smith. Both of those running backs are fairly underwhelming to me. So I would definitely go the 2 receivers. Do you feel any differently?
No.
Yeah, not when those are the running back options.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Singletary in a few weeks, but right now I'm going to receiver.
Yeah, thank you so much again for your super chats, guys. That looks like all the super chats we've got for now. So we'll go back to the mailbag. But if you want to cut the line, ensure you get your question answered. Again, 54 of you here as well. Please do hit that thumbs up button if you like what you're hearing. If you appreciate the help, we really appreciate that because it gets us out to more people, likes, subs, all that good stuff. Thanks again for being here. Appreciate you spending your Sunday mornings with us. Let's keep diving into this mailbag.
Waller or Goddard?
Trying to find where we were.
I already got it.
No, I know, but I can't see it as well.
It's 10:55.
Gotcha. Probably Waller. They are much better against receivers than they are tight ends, the Jets defense. And Waller's kind of the de facto number 1 there. They are my tight end 5 and 6, so it is really close. And Goddard's in a great matchup. The Commanders are bottom 3 against tight ends. And he's starting to cook too. I don't know. This is a really tricky one. I'm leaning. I actually think Goddard's just safer. You know, the hamstring injury with Waller, I could see like a flare up. He just always has those annoying disappearing acts. Goddard just feels safer with a similar ceiling. So I'm actually going to go Goddard here. What about you,
I'm a
CJ?
Waller guy, maybe just because I own him in like 4 leagues. So. wishing for the best. Domo was offered Breece Hall and Christian Watson from Derrick Henry, and Henderson and Pickens.
Awesome. It looks like we did miss a super chat from Jeremiah Moore as well. So we will jump on over that for you, Jeremiah. Thank you for your support of the show. But first, Damo. So we already have it pulled up. I like this deal. I'd rather have Breece Hall and Watson for sure. Henderson's got maybe another week of usefulness, and even then, that's questionable. Pickens has been really good. I mean, if Henry goes to the Ravens, then that would suck because he could be a monster there. But they're talking like they don't really want to move him. I could see that totally happening. And I just love Breece Hall. He's top 12 for me rest of season, not just at running back, but overall. You're getting the best player of the deal if you get Breece Hall. For a useless player in Henderson, Pickens, Henry, it really comes down to Pickens, Henry for Breece Hall, Watson. And with those receivers that you have, I think Watson's also a decent buy low right now too. So I like the Breece Hall Watson side. What about you, CJ?
Yeah, I'm so off Henry. I mean, I've never been a Henry guy my entire life, but I'd probably go with the Hall side.
Yeah. Hall's due for, he's already started to really cook, and it's only going to get better, and they're probably going to trade away Dalvin Cook. So, yeah, I ride with Breece there.
He's going to smash this week. So we have Jeremiah Moore. Thank you for the 99-cent super chat. What are your reactions if I told you that I have Lamar, Pollard, Bijan, Diggs, Chase, Kyron, and my team is 2 and 5?
Yeah, that's brutal. It's a good roster. I guess Bijan and Pollard are the culprits here, but then you have Chase as well. You got a bunch of studs here that are just underplaying, underwhelming here. So I can't believe that you're 2 and 5. To be honest, that really does suck, Jeremiah. Sorry to hear it. But you got
things will turn around.
This has the feel of one of those scrappy teams that doesn't. You're probably towards the top of the league in points. You're just getting bad luck. So I imagine this is all the makings of those 6th place. They squeak into the playoffs and they just go on runs. You've got the build for that. You got a scrappy team here. They could definitely turn that thing around. So keep the faith, Jeremiah. Absolutely. Thank you for the support.
Trying to see. So we had Damo. Now we have KJ, Foreman, Roshan, or Shula.
I'm trying to find our spot. Okay, there it is. Yep. Donta Foreman, Roshan, or Chuba. I go Foreman. I think this is his backfield at this point. He's earned it. He had 30 freaking points last week. Chargers are an abysmal pass defense, but they also give up plenty of touchdowns on the ground as well. I like Donta Foreman the most of this options.
You're not afraid of Roshan this week?
No. I think it's the Foreman show. Evans was already working in Darrington Evans. He had actually more snaps last week than Foreman. So yeah, no, I'm not worried about Roschon. I think he'll get involved, but I think Foreman's the clear goal line back and lead rusher today.
Mr. RN, Roschon or Freeman?
I like Roschon there. I don't like Royce at all. Looking for the number 2 back, I'll just go for the talent, the exciting, young, kind of unknown upside of Roschon. That just makes me excited more than Royce Freeman, at least.
Royce Freeman's so gross.
Yeah.
Sandoval, Pickens, or Tank Dell, Metcalf or London, KC or Pittsburgh defense?
I would go Pickens over Tank Dell, and I love Tank Dell today. I would go Metcalf over London just because of how game flow specific London is, and I don't think the game flow is going to favor him today. I think they're going to be up, and they're just going to pound it. And then I would go Kansas City over Pittsburgh's defense. They put up like 15 points the last time out. Looks like we did have another super chat come in. Our man Campanelli always helping with the moderating there. FZ Ware.
Curtis Samuel or JSN, a couple of Buckeyes, and he has Metcalf.
Yeah, I'd probably go, especially if you're playing Metcalf. I don't want to double stack against a very good secondary, one of the best teams against wide receivers so far this year. So I would go Curtis Samuel. He had a good game against Philly last time out. I think they're going to be chasing points. They're 8th most in points allowed to slots. So I think Curtis Samuel, especially given that you have Metcalf already in, it would be certainly neck and neck otherwise, but I'd go Curtis Samuel. I don't think you can double stack against a good Cleveland secondary here.
Yeah, right now I go Samuel. I still feel good with JSN today.
You're big on JSN today. I'm intrigued. I have JSN on my bench personally today, but I could be talking to sneaking him in there over Christian Watson maybe.
Christian Watson has been
Looks like just as we're about to get back to the questions, we got another super chat. Thank you guys so much. Very generous today. Really, really appreciate it coming out for you boys, supporting the laptop fund. So we got Mike Duty coming in with a $5 super chat, reminding you all to hit the like. If you can't support your boys financially, we get it. It's not expected. Always appreciated. But the like button is free. No reason you can't smash that for us. Over 50 of you here. Would love to keep bumping that number up, sharing, liking, retweeting, all that good stuff. It goes such a long way. And, of course, we'd love to have you sub and be a big part of the Wolf Pack. But thank you, Mike Duty, for the reminder to everybody else. All right, Wolf and Co. Spears or B-Rob in PPR leagues, and then flex Ridley, Cooper, or Goddard, have Laporta as tight end. All righty. I would lean B-Rob versus Spears is tough.
I think I go B-Rob.
I think I do too. I am worried Chris Rodriguez mixed in for 9 carries last week out of nowhere for no seemingly good reason. B-Rob is definitely the better touchdown threat, but I don't know. I am worried about that Eagles D-line. He saved his game against the Eagles last time with a touchdown. But yeah, I think he's certainly a better bet to score than Spears. So I'm a little bit lower on Spears than B-Rob. So yeah, I would go B-Rob. The PPR settings do make it a little bit closer though. I gotta realize I gotta move down Pierre Strong with what's his name? Jerome Ford likely playing. So I'm bumping him down right now. I just saw I had him above Tajay Spears, which is not correct. And then Ridley, Cooper, or Goddard. It's not Cooper. I don't want any part of this PJ Walker experience.
It's
It should be Calvin Ridley, but again, just 2 top 12 games. Other than that, he's been borderline useless. He really only had 2 really good weeks, and they were great. So he has that blow up upside, but I kind of like Goddard, who's been cooking lately. I don't typically like going double tight end, but I think I'm going to actually go Laporta and Goddard here. And Ridley can stay on the bench till I start to see it again. It's been a while. I don't know. I'm out on Ridley. Am I too low on Ridley?
No, it's Kirk's. Kirk is the pass catcher there, but I would have in this situation I go Ridley.
I'm leaning.
I can't go double tights.
I'm going double tight ends there. All righty. Thank you, Mike, so much for the super chat. It looks like we got another couple super chats coming in. Thank you again, guys. So generous today. It is greatly appreciated. Harv Danger, frequently super chat and supporting you guys, so that is much appreciated. Let's dive in.
Ingram or Schultz, half PPR.
I don't know that my rankings reflect this, but I actually kind of like Schultz here. 3 straight weeks with a touchdown, top 6 tight end for 3 straight weeks. He seems to really be finding his footing and his spot here in this offense. So as reliable as Ingram has been targets wise, so 7 or more every single week. Most often it's 8. I don't know. I don't love having it. Yeah, I'm bumping Ingram down below Schultz in my rankings. I'm a big Schultz fan today, so I'm going to actually go Dalton Schultz over Evan Ingram, even though Ingram's probably a little bit safer here.
I was going to go Ingram myself. But.
He does have Lawrence, so that stack is nice. Except again, Lawrence has not been throwing touchdowns, and certainly not to Ingram.
Is it actually nice?
Not, right now, it's not. Yeah, I know. I think I go for Dalton Schultz there. You're going to go Ingram?
I think I'm going Ingram. A little safer, although I
overdue. I mean, he's so due for a touchdown, but it just hasn't been happening. So I'm gonna go Schultz, and I'm changing my rankings to reflect that.
Are we out of the super chats, or are we back to?
We have Gabriel right underneath his second super chat of the day. Gabriel, thank you so much, man. Very generous of you to go back-to-back super chats.
So, Mr. Gabriel, new problem after your advice. Wide receiver, I got Collins, Chase, Devonta, Nakua, and then running backs Harris, Singletary, Madison. One running back open.
Okay. I'm kind of having a little bit of a hard time following this. But what I'll do is I'll tell you this. I rank the receivers, Jamar Chase, clearly the number 1 here. I would go Puka Nakua, the clear number 2. Those guys are tiers ahead of the other 2. Devonta and Nico are in the same tier for me. I prefer Nico myself, just great matchup and more consistency and blow-ups, higher upside there. So I do go Nico over Devonta, but they're very close. So that's how I would rank them. If you have to bench one, it would be Devonta for me, but I would rank them Chase, Nakua, Collins, Devonta Smith. Do you feel any differently about that order?
No.
Okay, and then for the
I feel like his only question is the running back.
Okay. Yeah, so Singletary, Madison, or Najee Harris. And I think it sounds like he needs to play one of them. I don't know. I don't love any of these. I'm very off Madison. I'm 9 spots below the ECR. I think he's turning that backfield over to Akers as early as this week.
Madison
so despite the good matchup.
Madison scores this week.
I don't think so. I think Akers scores this week.
They haven't had a rushing touchdown this year.
Yeah, it's so abysmal. Yeah, Duck wrote about that in his piece here. I would go Najee, honestly. He actually looked pretty decent last week and seemed to be in far more of the driver's seat than Jalen Warren it had been. They for whatever reason came out of their bye and gave Najee about 70% of the work, whereas it had been getting closer and closer to 50-50. So I'm leaning Najee here. The Jags have a good run D, but Najee seemed to be – it was the best I've seen Najee look in a long time. It is the best role he's had in a long time. So I like I said, I'm down on Madison. I have him the lowest here, even though most people would go Madison. I'm off him this week. So I'm going to go Najee Harris there.
I'll go Mr. Madison.
Thank you again, Gabriel. Double super chats. Very, very generous of you today. Very, very much appreciated. All right. And then we got Eli.
Back to Brent, Australia.
No, we have one more super chat, sir.
Oh, another super chat. Jesus.
Yeah, we got the boys are showing up today.
They want the laptop fund.
Yeah, maybe you will have that new laptop after today.
Eli, $2. Mac Jones or Kenny Pickett?
Yeah, that field injury definitely sounds like it's hurting you. Oh, man. I mean, I don't like either of those options. I'd probably go Kenny Pickett. Now he's got Deontay and George Pickens, and certainly much more of a pass funnel defense. The Jags are very solid against the run, but they're, I believe, let the 10th most points and 5th most yards up to quarterbacks as of last week. I can't remember exact ranking they are right now, but it's certainly a pass funnel defense where you want to attack with receivers and not running backs. So I guess I like Pickett the most here. I would ask, is like Jimmy Garoppolo out there? I actually kind of like Garoppolo against a bad Detroit secondary. Is Derek Carr? I like him even more.
They're not terrible on defense.
They're a good D line, but they've given up the 7th most points to quarterbacks. They can definitely be thrown upon. The Lions can. So I like Garoppolo. I think he would, if he's out there, he's only 12% rostered. I'd go him over either of these options. I'd go Minshew over anybody we've talked about. It's certainly not Mac Jones. I'll tell you that. But if it's just Kenny Pickett or Mac, I'd go Kenny Pickett. But I would also look to Gardner Minshew. I would go Derek Carr as a guy that could be potentially out there, then Gardner Minshew, then Jimmy G. I would go those 3 guys over anybody that either of these 2. But if it's just down to Pickett or Mac Jones, I would go Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, I'm not starting Mac Jones anymore, although I do love him as a player. Australia defense to start: Browns, Lions, Dolphins. I'm going Dolphins.
Dolphins. Yeah, I think we already hit that one, didn't we?
I think it was asked by someone else, but it was very similar. Australia start 1 receiver, 1 flex. Deontay, Mike Thomas.
No, you went way. You're doing repeat questions, CJ.
I was gonna say I feel like we already did this, but no, we left on Sano at.
No, we didn't. CJ, are you fucking okay? we were on Pat Sullivan area. We had gotten that, and then all the super chats came in. We did bearded RN. So then we were at this one. I know you have Michael. So bearded RN we had already hit one, but we hadn't hit this specific one for him.
So I picked 2 of these: Thielen, AJ Brown, Moore, Keenan. Gotta go AJ and Keenan myself.
I mean, yeah, you got to go Thielen and AJ Brown, yeah. And these are great. Man, Keenan Allen though.
I was gonna say Keenan. Yeah.
And I love DJ Moore this week too. Damn, dude. AJ Brown's at the top. You can't bench him. I mean, that's the number 1. I guess Keenan Allen versus Thielen's really tricky. It's so hard to bench Thielen right now, but like it's also Keenan Allen. I don't know. I think I'm riding Thielen there. What do you think about Thielen versus Keenan?
I'm going AJ Brown and Keenan.
Yeah, they're the 2 biggest studs. They did have a play caller change in Carolina as well, so I imagine Thielen will still be the guy, but just another reason to be a little bit more cautious with him, I guess. But yeah, I mean, damn, bearded RN, these are great options. So I'll go Brown and Keenan Allen too. I have those. That's how I have it ranked as well.
Alex Linder. Okay. I know you have Michael Pittman ranked quite a bit higher than Deontay, but does Marshall Lattimore shadowing Pittman scare you off Pittman at all?
It has me lower on Pittman. I have him a few, like 5 spots below the ECR. It's certainly a better slot matchup, so I do like Downs a lot today versus I don't love Pittman, but I would not put Deontay Johnson in ahead of him. No, Pittman just needs one big play. They're going to move him around. It's not going to be just Lattimore all day shadowing him, in my opinion. So I don't, the matchup is better for Deontay, but I think Pickens is also the alpha here now too. So no, I'm going to go Pittman over Deontay. What about you?
I think so. That is a little bit tough, but I'd probably go Pittman. I do like Pickens rest of the season a lot. I wish I could get him somewhere. Chris Follett, would you start Tank Dell over Rashee Rice? Yes,
I would go Tank Dell, and I love Rashee Rice too. But I that's how high I am on Tank Dell.
Nicola picked 3 of these, so bench 2. Henderson, Mixon, Foreman, Walker, Edwards.
I would go Mixon. I would go Walker, and I think I go Foreman over Edwards, but that's where it gets really close for me. It's not Henderson. He's my least favorite. Very tough matchup today against the Cowboys. I'm leaning Foreman over Edwards, but I don't think everybody would do that. I think Walker and Mixon are the clear top 2.
I think that's too hot of a take. Gus Edwards. Yeah.
You think Gus Edwards over Foreman?
No, I'd go Foreman then.
Yeah, I like Foreman too. That's how I have it. So yeah, I would go Walker, then Mixon, then Foreman, Nicola.
But start 3 of these: Sanders, Najee, Henderson, Madison. Tough scenes.
Yeah, that is ugly. I like Najee. I guess I got to go Madison, even though I'm lower on him.
Henderson.
Henderson over Sanders, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I could see Sanders kind of coming out the bye week. The report is he's motivated to get his job back. And I mean, Henderson, I just did not think looked great. I know he got the goal line look, but that was a bad defense, a bad Pittsburgh run D. He didn't look great against them.
He had to get his legs back under it.
I think the Cowboys, it's scary. That matchup terrifies me. They've held Eckler to 8. They held Saquon to 7. They held McCaffrey to 12.8. Like, I don't know. Henderson, I don't want anything to do with him today. So I'm actually going to go Sanders over Henderson.
Well, it is what it is. Kid Kobe. Roshan, Foreman, or Aaron Jones? Sit one of these. Oh, you just dropped out.
Yeah. No, I'm good. It was muted for a sec. Roshan, Foreman, or Aaron Jones? I gotta go Aaron Jones at that point. And then I would sit Roshan over Foreman. So you gotta pick just one of the Bears backs. I gotta go the guy that's rolling right now.
Fix your mic. You have like a weird mic going on.
Okay. Pull up the next one.
Yeah, but you're still like, you sound like you're like underwater. Laser, Happy PR, I'm not sure who to flex. Cooper, Metcalf, Tank, or Kendrick Bourne, receivers at Atlanta Madison.
All right. Does that sound better?
A little bit. You do sound kind of far away for some reason. I don't know what happened.
It still sounds weird?
No, you're good now.
Okay. Yeah. I would go. You definitely go Lamb and Addison. I agree with Laser that those are the right two to start. Dell versus Metcalf is what I've whittled this one down to. I feel like I go Metcalf there. It's tough though. I mean that's really close for me. But yeah, I'm gonna go DK Metcalf. What about you?
I may go Tank.
Yeah, bang. I don't hate it. I mean, you know me. I love Tank.
Off his injury, I think it's going to be a JSN day at this one. Nicole, pick two to play these. Rashee Rice, Hopkins, Pickens, Downs. So I would go Downs and I don't know. I'd probably go Hopkins, Pickens.
I go Downs and Pickens here. Those are my favorite two. Hopkins with Will Levis, we have no idea what that's going to be. Rashee Rice has been awesome, but I feel great about that slot matchup for Josh Downs, and Pickens is just rolling, so I'm not benching him.
The bearded RN, pick one of these: Myers, Kirk, or Flowers. Can you bench Christian Kirk at this point?
For Jacoby Myers, I think I can. I love Jacoby Myers. These guys are all neck and neck for me. I just looked. I have Myers 18, Flowers 19, Kirk 20. Legitimately 3 in a row there, bearded RN. So they're all in the same tier. They're hard to separate at this point. I would probably go. I mean, clearly I have Myers the highest, and I feel good about that. Myers has just been ripping it this year. So I'm going to go Jacoby Myers.
Kirk's also been ripping it this year.
He has. No, Kirk's great. Flowers has been ripping it too. I mean, these are 3 great options that are all neck and neck. I feel good about Myers on Monday night, though. Plus, you got like the Monday night hope factor, and he's had like 30-point day this year. So, you know, even if you're down by 20, you at least have a little bit of hope for Monday, whereas the other guys are just dumb. I know that's not how you should make your lineup decisions, but I do have Kirk. I have Myers just ahead of both these guys, but this is a really tough one, bearded.
I'm going Kirk myself. Can't bench the guy. Yosoi Tony 617 Morning Wolf. Do you like McBride or Mayer?
I have them tight end 14 and 15.
Actually, we do have a lot of people in here that we haven't seen before, so do smash that like and also subscribe, please.
Absolutely. I like McBride. I mean, second in yards per route run behind only Travis Kelce right now. The routes are about to go up significantly. The Ravens are good against the tight ends, but McBride's a freak. He is a freak athlete. If you watched last week, he had this hurdle over a guy. He's dangerous after the catch. They have a 31% target share to their tight ends as a team, third highest in the NFL. Now no Ertz. I think it's wheels up for McBride even in a tough matchup. I go him over Mayer. What about you?
Yeah, I'd go McBride. I do love Mayer as a player, but it's too inconsistent right now.
Yeah, and Detroit is a good matchup, though. Detroit's a smash spot for tight ends, so this is tough. Mayer has the matchup and probably even has they're both intriguing players and intriguing talents. I just feel good about the volume of tight end, like the volume tight ends getting in Arizona right now. Yeah, I'm going to go McBride.
I'm with you. Y2J need a running back 2. Javonte, Foreman, Chuba, and then would you flex any of them over Jacoby? No.
I would not go any of these running backs over Jacoby, and I would go Foreman as the highest for me. I'm a believer. I've always been said it on the show a million times. I love the thick-ass running backs, and Foreman's just one of those sturdy, beefy boys that gets the touchdowns, gets churning, gets better and better as the game goes on type of guy. I like Foreman there. just slightly ahead of Javonte.
I'm a Javonte guy today. Need it very badly for myself. So if you want to roll with me,
Instance with
if
your
you want to
answers.
roll with me. Just give me those 8 points like you always do.
He'll get 8 points.
That's just what he does on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
The bearded RN, I had to pick one of these: Devonta, Bourne, Sutton, Watson, or Dean Carter. I think we have this.
I like probably Devonta the most, but Sutton's the safest, honestly. Devonta has been really sketchy. Only I think one top 24 game like right now on the year. But I just love that matchup against the Commanders, and I have a feeling this could be a good get right spot for him. So I'm going to go Devonta Smith.
Yeah, I'm a guy that always stays with Devonta. I believe that talent. So.
Yeah, me too.
Harry Baker and they're running back in 2 flex out of these. DeMarcado, Madison, Warren, Javonte, Rice, Lockett.
I would go Rice, Javonte as my favorite 2. And then it just kind of gets ugly. So the running back's Javonte, 1 flex is Rice. I guess I roll the dice on DeMarcado here. It's so inconsistent. 1 week he's 59% of the snaps, but almost none of the work. The next week he's 93% snaps and like all but 1 carry. If it continues to trend that way, then yeah, it's definitely DeMarcado. And the Ravens are actually not as scary as you'd think for running back matchups. You got receiving work too for DeMarcado. I don't know. I don't buy it. I guess I'd go Madison. I know I'm not a Madison guy today. I do think Akers takes over, but he is the one they're paying, and he will get the first chance to be useful today. And it's a bad Green Bay defense, so I'll go Madison, Javonte, and Rice. What about you?
Same players, different order, but it doesn't matter. But the order.
So all right, we're starting them all.
Yeah. Yosoi Tony, pick 3, PPR, Cooper, Ridley, Deontay, Dell, JSN. So pick 3 of these.
I would go Dell, I would go Deontay, and I'd go Ridley of those 3.
Dell, Ridley. Okay. I can go with
I'm
that.
worried about JSN. Just like we have not seen him do it with Metcalf on the field, with all of the receivers healthy. I think he needs to have an injury to one of the receivers to be fully relevant. And then Cooper, PJ Walker, no thank you.
They did run a little 3 receiver sets with Bobo last week.
But yeah, that's the thing. It's like, what if Bobo plays over him because he's a better run blocker today? I worry about this is a good week to sit JSN on the bench, see what his role is with Metcalf back. Like this could be the sign of a second half blow up if he's out there for another 80% of the routes, even with everybody there, and get some targets. But it's a tough Cleveland D anyways. I feel like that game just is gross. Like Cleveland and Seattle, it feels nasty.
That was underwritten all over it.
Yeah, it seems like a 12-8 game, like a weird ass gross score. Like I don't want anything to do with it.
Nate Perez, Tank, or Kendrick Bourne?
So I love Tank, and I'm going Tank here. It is worth noting Kendrick Bourne has been the wide receiver 9 and 10 the past 2 weeks. He gets a pass happy matchup today. Like I can see why this is a question for sure, Nathan. But I got to go Tank. I'm just all in on the Tank Dell hype today.
Yeah, I'm with you. Beard RN, Javonte, or Stevenson?
I think I go Ramondre. He's starting to get it together. He doesn't look great out there, but the receiving role is clearly his on lockdown at this point. And this is going to be a game with a script that they're going to need to throw. So especially if you get reception points, which most people do, whether it's half or full, I think Stevenson's the play. I don't know. What do you think about Stevenson versus Javonte?
It may be Zeke's backfield to take.
They do like Zeke a lot.
Yeah, he's actually looked decent. I would go Javonte here, but
actually, yeah, Zeke got more of the rushes last week. He gets the goal line work. Stevenson's got kind of bailed out with like garbage time dump offs the last couple of weeks, and I think there's going to be some of that this week. I would say this: if it's full PPR, I go Stevenson. If it's half, I go Javonte. That's kind of how I would. I have them 20 and 22. Like that's. But in full PPR, I'd probably flip that.
I like that. Beard RN, Tank, Ridley, Flowers.
Flowers. I love Flowers. He's continuing to grow and evolve his role, and he's just a stud. He's a player. He is awesome.
I agree. Tunes picked up deer from the butcher, got 60 pounds. Send
Tunes,
that venison over here.
we need that venison, baby. Send us some venison tunes.
Make us some venison meatballs.
RSJ.
Y2J, Lions or Jags defense?
I like the Lions. They get the Raiders. You know, not a scary offense by any means. They're a good defense with a lot of sacks, a lot of turnover potential. I think I like the Lions there. What do you think? Jags? Yeah. Steelers?
I hate defense questions.
Yeah, it's always so random.
It's so random.
Yeah.
Nate Perez, Tank Dell, Kendrick Bourne in my flex.
Oh, yeah, I think we already got that one. And I said Tank Dell. He's just giving us a little more context. I would definitely play those top two receivers, yeah.
The bearded, again. Myers, Hopkins, Pittman. I think we did that too.
I like Myers the most by quite a lot bit. I love Myers. I'm surprised we get questions about him every week at this point. He has just been 30% target shares week in and week out, outperforming Devontae Adams at this point. Like he's a guy we should just not have questions about anymore, I feel like.
I agree. Roman, full PPR, started a flex. Najee, London, Pitts.
I would go. I don't love London today. I've talked about how game flow he is, but like the rest of these options are worse to me. So I would go for the upside that, hey, maybe the Falcons do get down. They have to chuck. London could have a huge day in that case. And so to me, the ceiling is clearly there for him. Pitts was a similar narrative too, but I'd rather just go with the receiver instead of the tight end in that case. So I'm going to go Drake London here.
Yeah, they're all not great. I'd probably go London myself, but not great options. Fatty Mateo, D-Hop is my receiver 6. Del Hugh start. Really want to drop him for Tank. What do you think?
I mean, keeper league. So let's say you pick up Tank. Are you allowed to keep her? Because like I know a lot of leagues you have to draft a guy to keep him, and then you lose the round that you drafted him. So I'm not opposed to the move, honestly.
Yeah, I wouldn't think about keeping Hopkins.
I would say this, Fatty, especially if you don't think you have to do it right now. Trade deadline's Tuesday. I wouldn't be shocked if like the Chiefs or like D-Hop could get moved to a team where his value just skyrockets. They seem to be on a fire sale. I wouldn't be shocked to see Henry, Tannehill, and D-Hop all moved. In which case, what if he lands? I don't know. The Chiefs would be a crazy one. There's certainly landing spots for D-Hop where he could come out of the trade deadline as a top 15 guy. He still looks good, and he's playing well, and he's a target hog. Once the trade deadline passes, okay, yeah, if he's still with the Titans and you don't want anything to do with that offense, I don't blame you. But for now, I would wait and see.
There you go. Jim Coop in a PPR need a flex and one tight end. Waller, Schultz, Warren, Roshan, Dell, McLaughlin.
I would go Waller over Schultz at tight end, even though I love Schultz this week. I do. And then I would go Tank Dell as the flex here. Yeah, I like Tank Dell there. So I'd go Waller, Tank Dell here. And then I would go Miami defense over Dallas.
I'm with you. We do have a super chat. The Beard RN, just want to say thanks for the help today. Also, Javonte will be in a snow game. That's what I said earlier. So that will make a difference against Ramondre. There
you go. I think that honestly helps him. The running back, maybe they have to lean on the run today. A little grosser weather than expected. And he's just looked really good these last few weeks. So I could see him churning. Yeah, I like that. Thank you very much, Beard RN, for that super chat. A way to cut the line indeed is showing your boys that love. But if you can't, that's all good. It's not expected, always appreciated. But you can freely help us with that thumbs up button. Over 60 here. We'd love to see it. We're having as big of a show as we've had in a couple of weeks here. You love to see it. The comments are continuing to rake in. So please do consider that thumbs up button helping your boys out. And especially a lot of new names there in the chat. We'd love to have you back for the rest of the season. So hit that sub button, hit the bell if you do, and you know when we're live. And we're always here to answer your questions, help you fantasy teams. The waiver wire show's been crushing it this week, this entire season. So we'd love to have you to be a full-time Wolfpack member. Hit that sub, hit the bell, hit that like button. If it really does help your boys.
And you get hungover CJ. Little Halloween party last night was Neymar.
Oh, No excuses,
like,
CJ. I was
the
up till
neck-
1:30 in
the
the
neck
morning at a
tats-
Halloween party. So
the neck tats are gone, but it's still.
yeah, that's what that's from. When you sent me that Snapchat,
Wait, I actually still have them on. Oh my god!
please
What?
tell me that the neck tat's real. Do you have work today?
Yeah, I'm calling up.
Yeah.
Nathaniel Perez, Tank Dell are born. We got that a few times. We're going Dell.
We're bordering on timeout. It's been a while since we've had a timeout, but repeat questions. Sometimes you got to go to the naughty bench. So if we see
Patrick
another one from
Patrick
Perez,
from the Mafia. Good morning. Good morning,
yeah.
sir.
Patrick from the Mafia. We better get it right for this guy.
C. Woodsy. We do have a lot of new names today.
love it.
Henderson or Chuba.
I've seen Patrick G Mafia before. He's not new. I feel like Woodsy's been here before too, but
I'm
either way.
seeing these new names on Sunday.
I would probably go Chuba here. I've been very impressed with Chuba. There's rumblings he's going to start. I don't know if there's been any official tweets or word on the starting situation there. But I like Chuba. I just don't like. I'm really low on Henderson today. Maybe I'm too low. I have him on my team, so it's not owner bias or anything of that nature. I just worry that the Cowboys have held elite running backs to 12 or under in CMC, in Saquon, in Al Sneckler. Why would we expect Henderson to suddenly break that trend? So I don't like Henderson today at all. I like Chuba myself. It sounds like we do have another super chat. So let us dive on in. And it looks like Nathaniel Perez has super chatted us.
Hunter Jacobs as RB2.
Awesome. Oh, so he's the one that was bordering on the naughty bench with the Tank Dell Kendrick.
That's how you get off the naughty bench. Pay for the.
This is how you get off the naughty bench. Exactly. He sent us a couple bucks, and we all is forgiven. Hunter Jacobs, you got to go Jacobs. I know it's been so disappointing, but he makes one of the best buy lows. The volume has been elite. The receiving role has been better than it was. Lions is a tough matchup, but you got to go Jacobs here, right?
Yeah, I like Jacobs to go 100 yards today.
First time ever. Tomorrow, at least, right? Monday, I think. Yeah. And
whatever day it is.
This could have been whatever this world is. Hunt could have been an interesting option had Ford been ruled out, but now that Ford's actually likely to give it a go, I think that makes it a much bigger risk. So I'm going to go Jacobs here. It's just too good of a role to pass up. Thank you very much, Nathaniel Perez, for the super chat. Looks like Ryan Hemmings coming on in about D-Hop versus Palmer. Oh man, this is tricky because it's Palmer for me, but Palmer is questionable. There is optimism he's going to play, Ryan, but you got to have a backup plan ready. It depends on what that backup plan is for me to confidently say Palmer. What do you think about Quentin Johnson as a backup plan? Honestly, I think if Palmer sits, Johnson would probably still get outplayed by Jalen Guyton or something like Richie Davis.
He will. He's not good. That's the thing.
Remember, I tweeted out Josh Palmer's the one to have, and some guy named Chris Jason commented on Quentin Johnson rest of the season, much more upside. And I said, nope, Josh Palmer's the guy.
If Quentin Johnson doesn't have the Michigan signals, not good at football.
He didn't go to Michigan.
No, he played TCU. Only going to put points at TCU, but they had the Michigan signs, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Whatever. Shut up. I would probably go Palmer here, though. It sounds like he's going to play. He's been rolling. Who knows what D-Hop and Will Levis, what that connection is going to be like. I'd rather just go with Palmer. We know what that is. He's the clear number 2 in a good offense, one of the best passing games in the league. So, yeah, I'm leaning that way. And then
Palmer's 7 for 85 lock.
Yeah. Who's S. Terry? Is that Scary
Terry?
Terry?
Singletary.
Oh, Singletary. Okay.
I like this four men single S. Terry.
Very efficient here, Ryan Hemmings, with your naming. I would go Foreman for sure. I think he's the lead back again today. I know Roshan's back. I don't care. I think they've really established this new identity around Foreman, and he's just rolling. It kind of makes you wonder why he was a healthy scratch on game days. He's always been this kind of guy that once you unleash him, he just eats. I've always been a big Foreman fan, so I'm going Foreman ahead of these guys. What about you?
No argument there.
Yeah,
a lot of committee backs there.
Yeah,
you may have to rip it because we do have 25 minutes left, and there's a lot of questions left. Oh, so Mr. Wolf has dropped, so we're gonna go with the Mafia. The Mafia also scares me. Hold on 1 second.
Sorry about that. I hit the back button by accident when I was dragging up the questions. So yeah, we can. You want to hit
We have
rapid
about
fire?
like 25 minutes left. We have a lot of questions left, so if you want to rip it, you can. If not, it's up to you.
Okay, cool. It sounds like we did have one more. Campanelli's pointing, so we do have super chats. We are about to get to rapid fire mode, folks. Which is if you're new here, we love to try to get to every question. But if you want like a detailed response with actual analysis on the stuff, you got to make sure to super chat at this point. I don't see the one that he's pointing to though. I saw Hemmings, Perez. I don't see a super chat. What the hell is Campanelli talking about?
Let's ask him. What are you talking about? Speak. Oh, you're muted. That was your chance.
Peter Cho. I don't see it. Do you see it?
Thank
you. Sorry, guys. I know we're delaying
I'm
here.
afraid I don't want to upset the mafia.
Alrighty, I'm gonna just start ripping a rapid fire. If you can just type the question in. Oh, there it is.
Oh no, I see it. I see it right there.
Yeah, I don't know why it wasn't popping up under starred.
Mr. Cho, PPR, start one of these: Hunt, Javante, Sanders, or Truba.
It was Hunt entering the day, but now that Jerome Ford is likely to give it a go, and we don't know exactly what that shakeout will be, I'm gonna go Javante. Snow game, ride your horse. He's looked good as good as he's looked. The touch disparity between him and Jaleel McLaughlin continues to grow by the week. I'm gonna go Javante there. Do you feel similarly?
You don't like Hunt on the goal line though?
I do like Hunt. I mean, he's had the monopoly on the goal line. He's got the receiving work. He's getting all the most valuable touches there. So yeah, I totally get that. And he's had 15 points with Jerome Ford there. He's probably going to get more work with Jerome Ford now banged up. But I don't know. I feel good about Javante in the snow game. Do you like Hunt over him?
I need Javante, so I want to roll with everyone that has Javante questions. I'll roll with you.
Yeah, I like Javante.
I do like Hunt.
Yeah, I'm there. So I'm going to go Javante there. NC
Mr.
Firearms consistent. Oh,
Thank
yeah,
you
you
for
got
the two. Hubbard or Sanders, and then Goff or Cousins.
So if I had to go between these two guys, I think Hubbard's going to be the starter as the rumblings. Again, I don't know if we've seen any news on that. Stat Boy, if you want to get on that and check it out, if there's been any news. And but yeah, Hubbard or Sanders, I go Hubbard. I think he's going to be the starter, but we haven't seen anything quite confirmed there yet. But The Athletic was speculating Hubbard has taken this backfield over. It's going to be a hot hand approach moving forward. And Hubbard's just been that much better, so I think he keeps the hot hand should he be the starter. So yeah, I have Hubbard a few spots above Sanders this week. Don't love either, but it is a good matchup. Houston is still a bad run D. Goff versus Cousins. I mean, anytime Goff's at home, you play him. That's kind of the cheat code here at this point, especially with Monty banged up too. This is and the way they got just obliterated last week. I think they're going to come out like guns a-blazing, trying to like redeem themselves. So yeah, I think this is going to be like a Goff like 300 plus yard, like 2 to 3 touchdown type of day. So I like Goff here, even though Cousins did look great. I mean, that 378 and 22 points against
they're very similar players.
Very similar. I lean Goff here though. I think the matchup's better. Similar players. Go with the matchup. Go with the Monday night. I'm going to go Goff over Cousins. What about you?
Yeah, I'm with you there. Although Cousins, they're both going to get like 17ish. Is what I feel.
No, I think both are going to get about 20. I like them both this week, but I'm going to go Goff over him.
Jeremiah, Mahomes has the flu. Just add to the injury list.
Thank you very much for super chatting us just to give us some news. I can't imagine Mahomes doesn't play. And the flu is the real deal. Like if it's like actually the flu though, I mean the flu fucking sucks.
I've never gotten the flu. That's for weak people. Only weak people.
No. I get a flu shot every year, so I don't have to deal with it.
Never had the flu shot in my life.
Yeah, you're gonna get it for yourself now.
Matthew Ojeda. This is a new name, I think. Who should I start? Foreman or Wandell?
I would go Foreman for sure. I think we're getting a lot of Foreman questions. I think people are a little skeptical of that huge game we had, that 30-point day. We're not going to get 30 again. I get Roschon coming back definitely makes it sketchier, but remember, like this was already a split backfield. Darrington Evans actually played more snaps than Foreman last week, and Foreman still did what he did. He just needs to get that 16, 20 touches, and they're going to want to keep the ball out of Herbert's hands. The really big risk with Foreman, I don't think is Roschon. It's if the Chargers come out guns blazing, get up by 20 in the first quarter, first half. Yeah, then it becomes a Roschon game. So there is that risk, but especially when your other option here, Wandale, is gross. Like there's nothing about that that intrigues me. So I go Foreman for sure. So yeah, and Jeremiah is just kind of mentioning, Mahomes playing, but there's snow as well. So yeah, I mean it's sketchy for Mahomes, but like how do you not? It's Pat Mahomes. You're playing Pat Mahomes if you haven't at this point as well. I did want to just say Shamir Khan commented in I sent stars and still no response. I don't know if stars is the same thing as a super chat or something on Facebook. I have no idea what that means. So Campanella, if you can keep your eyes out for that. I don't know if that means you sent money or what that
He texted me saying that somebody else paid on Facebook, but I didn't know Facebook had a paying option.
I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't pop up that you can pay on Facebook as far as I can tell. But definitely send that to the chat, Campanelli, if you can find that. I don't know what Shamir is referring to, but Shamir, of course, if you sent some money and you want to support your boys, you should be able to cut the line. So we'll keep
our eyes. Does Shamir have a question?
I don't know. I didn't see it. But I don't know where Facebook's weird. I don't know. It hasn't popped up. Shamir. So it says Ferguson.
Oh, well, he's calling us out. Waste of money.
Sorry. Again, like I said, I don't know.
We're getting destroyed by Shamir right now.
But where's I don't even see the payment. We'll assume.
Oh no, I got it right there.
It doesn't.
Ferguson, Hiller, Smith.
So we're talking tight ends here. Who's Smith? Jonnu Smith? Not him. Like I said, I think they get game flowed out. Ferguson's got a great matchup. Second most points allowed to tight ends are the Rams, but 86% of the routes last week looks awesome. 3% target share doesn't look awesome. I like Taysom Hill, and I know Juwan's back, so that makes it a bit riskier. But season, career highs in route share back-to-back weeks, 9 opportunities back-to-back weeks. Tight end 7 or better back-to-back weeks. It could be a big risk because again, Juwan is back and we could see that role completely diminish, but 8 targets, 5 targets, it was as involved as we've seen Taysom Hill. So I'm going to go Taysom Hill. And again, sorry, Shamir, I have I've never seen, I still don't even see that you paid.
Messages are wild right now. I'm sorry.
Where does it show
Shamir,
that?
Shamir, relax though.
Yeah. Yeah,
cool,
I don't know. It didn't show us that you paid. I have no idea whether you did or not, or how we see that.
That's giving you on purpose. Calm yourself.
If that happened again, I would not leap to that question. Alrighty, guys, we are going to go to a rapid fire mode though. I am logging off either way in 15 minutes to get all my stuff set, so we should be able to make it through the rest of the mailbag. But just in case we don't, if you want to make sure your question gets answered. Then a super chat's the only way to get live. CJ, I lost some of the questions because of when I went back.
We're at I got you up. We're at the Mafia, man.
I don't.
Soprano. Okay. I made a blockbuster trade. Was given Jefferson and Montgomery for Eckler, and I accepted. Do you like that or not?
Sweet. I like that. I think absolutely Jefferson and Montgomery for Eckler. I'd hammer that all day. And yeah, smart play. 5 and 2. You're not in win now mode. You can go get that. Absolutely. So the only question, the next question I see is DJ Johnson at 11:15.
No,
so
a little bit. There's 2 more in between.
Okay.
Aaron, Dell, Moore, Olave. Pick 2 of these. Sit one. Moore, Olave for me.
I got to go with Moore and Olave. Yeah, absolutely. Moore and Olave.
Right, so now we're at where you're at.
All righty, cool. So now I'll rapid fire it on up. We'll back one last call. Over 50 of you here. Going to try to get to all your questions here. But again, if you want to skip the line, Super Chat's the way to do it. The free way to help your boys is that thumbs up. Would be so greatly appreciated. Awesome to have so many of you here with us this morning for week 8, the midpoint of the year. Let's dive in. DJ Johnson, Tank Dell, JSN, Roschon, Akers, and Zeke. Definitely Tank Dell for the wide receiver here. And then the flex, I think I'm going Cam Akers. I don't love any of the options there, DJ. Full PPR, Garrett Wilson or Drake. Definitely Garrett Wilson for me. Full PPR, Ramondre or Jonathan Taylor. Definitely Jonathan Taylor for me. And then DeMarcado, Hunt, or Roschon for DJ Johnson. I'm going Kareem Hunt there. DJ, Steven Hernandez. Flex 1, Mixon or Cooper, or definitely Mostert. And then Nico Collins would be the next one up. But Mostert and Nico are clearly above Amari Cooper. Mixon's, I guess, fairly close there, but Mostert is the best option. Mixon or Henry. Ooh, good one, Justin. I like Mixon. It's a tough match with San Fran, but I just like that game. I want pieces of that game today. Hoping for a bounce back from Ridley. Yeah, it's a plus matchup. I would go to Donta Foreman, though. Oh, Jeremiah, we didn't realize you had another question after you super chatted us. So my bad to miss that one. But thank you again for your support, Jeremiah. You're always consistently showing up for your boys. I would go to Donta Foreman, though. I do prefer Foreman over Ridley. Just the inconsistency. I'm not a big fan. Craig Sarno, Hunt, Aaron Jones, or Pierce. I'm going to go Aaron Jones there. Watson or Dell for Mr. Timberlake. I'm going to go Tank Dell for that one. Grind don't stop. Start 2 running backs, 1 receiver, and a flex. Gibbs, Walker, Bijan, Olave, Dell, Rice. Gibbs and Walker are the top 2 running backs there for me. And then Olave would be the wide receiver of choice. Ferguson, Hill, or Smith from Shamir. Oh, yeah, we just answered that one. Sat, Dalton, Kincaid, but have Laporta. Thoughts? I would go. I don't know. Is there a question there? Grind don't stop. I have the same situation. As usually ask for my thoughts. I actually had Kincaid on the bench for Laporta myself in one league, so I would have done the same. I think it's great to have both these rookies that are just starting to trend, especially Kincaid, the right way right now. Starting Tank Dell over Higgins. Yeah, I would do the same, the Surgeon. I'm with you, but I'm on record. I think Higgins does have his bounce back game today, but I would go Tank Dell for now. Olave or Hall. Ooh, great options there. I would go Breece Hall there for sure. Morning, fellas. Half PPR, 1 receiver, 1 flex. Ridley, Pittman, Roshan, Ford, Wilson, Tajay. Andres, I would go Pittman and I guess Ridley. Ford just risky because we don't know exactly that he'll play. You have to wait till 4 p.m. and then it gets ugly. Jessica Suzuki. Bad idea playing Stroud, Dell, Schultz all 3 today? No, I don't think so. I think you can definitely stack up Stroud today. Like we talked about, lowest pressure rate in the league are the Carolina Panthers, and Stroud is a monster with a clean pocket. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of getting that stack in there. In fact, I've looked at DFS lineups with exactly those 3 guys. Gabriel, you super chatted us this one, Gabriel, so thank you again for the support there. Stroud, Nakua, Kirk, Bijan, Foreman, Schultz, Dell, Fairbairn set lineup. Benches Henderson, Jay. Yeah, I'd keep the lineup exactly as you have it, Jessica. Goff or Tua. I would go Tua, Jose, but they're quarterback 5 and 6 for me, so very, very close. Half PPR, pick 1. Palmer, Dell, London. Thank you, guys. Mikey B. I would go Dell of those options. Week 8 flex, non-PPR. Kareem Hunter, Olave. I'd still go Olave. I think he blows up today. Very, very bad secondary there for Indianapolis. Standard scoring, another one. Ew. Watson or Javonte. I'd go Javonte there. Shades. Rodney Davis. Jim Coop. Waller or Schultz. I would go Waller. And then Osborne, Warren, Tank Dell. I would go Tank Dell. And then I would go Miami over Dallas. I was worried with the Steelers defense. Yeah, there's nothing to be too worried about. Depends. I forget who your player was, Harv, but yeah. Donta Foreman, Jeff Wilson, Damian Pierce, or Alexander Madison. I would go Donta Foreman. I'm still on the Foreman train. Jackson, Washington. Diamond Dave, Superflex. Russ Wilson or Dobbs. I would go Russ. Snow game does make that a little trickier, though. So, yeah, but I still think I'd go Russ. Should I start Gus Edwards or Madison? Definitely Gus for me. PPR wide receiver 2, need 2. Higgins, Rice, Downs, Cooper. I would go Downs, and I think I'd go Higgins there for sure. It does look like we got a super chat, so I'm going to jump to that. CJ, can you try to keep our place in the time here?
Yeah.
And then I will jump.
Sarno just messaged me that we skipped this question twice. I don't know if we missed it either.
No, we answered Sarno twice. So Sarno, pay attention. Pick up Ritter, Howell, or Carr. I would go Carr, but I would not bench Mahomes for any of these guys. But I would go Carr if I had to. But no, I would no. You're playing Pat Mahomes and just hoping the flu's not a big deal. It's kind of like Michael Jordan flu game type of thing. So I'm gonna go Pat Mahomes for sure. Bearded RN. I would not be panicking over him. Alrighty, we left off at
was it
Jessica?
Yeah, hard danger area.
Oh, Diamond. Yeah, so Khalid Judy, Gus Edwards or Madison, I think is where we were. Alrighty, and then Diamond Dave was a repeat. Impossible. Higgins Henderson, Brian Robinson, Tank Dell, Dobbs, Lockett. I would go so you already have Nico in there, so maybe I do go Higgins, but I don't mind double stacking those guys either. I would not bench anyone you have in your lineup, impossible. And you got the right guys. I would most often go Tank Dell of these options, but I think because you already have Nico, I might go T. Higgins there. But they're close. It's very close. Fook Oda here. Start one, Tank Dell, D. Singletary, J. Williams, Brian Robinson, D. Johnson. I would go Tank Dell there for that. You can read mine, no problem. I don't know what that means. Flex Kittle, Tank, Dell, or Higgins. I would go Kittle, Giuseppe Russo. Big spot there. Patrick, I think you made a good trade with your record. You can afford. Oh, yeah. That was definitely a good trade. I love the Wolfpack helping each other out there. Should I start Madison or Gus Edwards? Definitely going Gus Edwards. I think that's a repeat, so we're looking at a timeout potentially coming here. Javonte Pierce or Dell in the flex. I would go Javonte or Dell. I'm going to go in the PPR league. I'm going to go Tank Dell. PPR, Hunt or Miles Sanders. Definitely Hunt for me. Brian Verratti. Patrick answering Jeremiah and thanking him. Pittman, Dell, Pickens. I'm going to go Pickens there. Delic back. Tyler Ralph, Hunter Foreman. I'm going to go Foreman there. And we got Orlando Montijo. Dell, Downs, Lamb, London. Pick 2 non-PPR, please. I would go Lamb, and I'd go Downs or Dell. Non-PPR, I think I'm still going to go Downs. I feel good about Downs. Aaron Jones or Henderson. Definitely Aaron Jones for me. Start 2, Hendo, Ridley, Hunt, Foreman. I would go Hunt and Foreman there, Aladdin. PPR, start Hunt, Henderson, or Javonte Williams. I would go Hunt. I would go Kareem Hunt there. And would you start at flex, full PPR? Definitely Terry McLaurin over these other options. Devonta Smith's close, Mike Smith, but I'm going to go Terry. He's an Eagles killer historically. McBride or Conklin? McBride. Good morning, fellas. Let's get closer to that chip. Absolutely, Firster. Great to see you. Henry or Garrett Wilson, full PPR. I kind of like Garrett Wilson there. Henry's, I'd probably just go Henry and ride it out. I'd go Henry there. Rough question on flex. Curtis Samuel, Jeff Wilson. I would probably Ron Burgundy go Curtis Samuel. Injuries definitely seem like they have decimated you, though. And again, one last call. We'll pack a bunch of new names here. You love to see it. Great numbers here. Thumbs up really help us, but also we'd love to have you be part of the pack. Consider hitting that subscribe button. Free support for your guys. Takes just a second to do, and it would really mean the world. If you enjoy the content, at least, we'd love to have you continue to stay with us. Staying away far from that game, Jeremiah maybe, but I can't really bench my Chiefs guys. And I think Pacheco in particular would be very interesting in the snow game.
Yeah,
Should I drop? What'd you say?
I like the running backs.
Yeah. Should I drop Michael Thomas or Palmer for Tank Dell? I'd rather have Tank Dell than either. I don't know which one I'd want to cut. Shamir is extremely annoying. I really hope he did pay us because this is a complete hissy fit in the thing. So if waste of money, I don't know. Maybe he did pay, and if you did, sorry that we missed you, Shamir. It didn't show up, but otherwise, like that is just.
Shamir, if it didn't hit the bank account, I don't care about you.
Yeah, maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I have no idea how Facebook works, but I've never seen people pay on Facebook before. Tank Dell or Downs? I'm going to go Downs. I like Downs here. Stash Jameson, Akers, Singletary, or Mims. If it's just a pure stash, Charlie, I like them all, honestly, as pure stashes. I think it comes down to if you need Akers, if you need the running back help, or Mims if you need the receiver help. Those are the two highest ceilings I see here. But I'm going to go Cam Akers there. Is the in general highest upside stash. And then I lost my fucking place where it just jumped. That was Charlie. Okay. Olave, Augustus Forrester. Olave, Addison, Devonta Smith, Flowers, half PPR, pick 2. I like Olave and Addison the most here. And I like all these options a lot, Augustus. But yeah, that's where I'm leaning. Listen, we did get a super chat, so you do get to cut the line. And I will make sure to take my time with you, Omar. Don't have to be real quick. You're consistently supporting your boys, so I will be happy to take my time for you. Would you play Hendo over Dell or Pierce in 2 separate leagues? I would definitely play Tank Dell over Hendo. I wrote about both these guys, Omar, so if you want a more in-depth breakdown, definitely check the site out. I'm off of Hendo. The Cowboys have been, the fifth worst matchup for running backs. And then in general, we've had studs like Austin Eckler, Christian McCaffrey, Saquon put up 12 or less against this team. So I don't expect Hendo to do much better than that. So yeah, I definitely play Dell over Hendo. Pierce gets a little trickier, but I would just go and hope that he does come out of the bye fresh and most touchdowns allowed to running backs, the Carolina Panthers. If nothing else, he feels like a better bet for a score. So I'd go Dameon Pierce over him. So no, I would not put Hendo in there. And then full PPR as well. By the way, oh yeah, so Rachaad White, we got that one right for you. Coming in with that super chat late. So I love to see that, Omar, that we got the PPR Rachaad White call correct for you. Thank you again so much for the support. And again, anybody else out there that wants to support your boys, we're happy to take the time and ultimately give you a more in-depth answer. But back to the rapid fire. I got 4 more minutes left. I think I'll get through everything, but just in case you want to be safe, super chat is very helpful, and we'll cut the line. Wilson Jr. or D. Johnson. I'm guessing that's Deontay Johnson, which is where I'd go. I can't trust Jeff Wilson until I see it. Drop Rice for Tank. Fatty. PPR keeper, both would cost me 8th round pick. I don't know that either will end up being worth 8th round picks anyways. Probably the last week to get Tank for free, but I don't know. I think Rice and Tank are very, very similar. Fatty, double repeat, but at least you apologize. Slop running backs, I said Gus Bus over the other two. You're welcome, Nathaniel Perez. Thank you very much again for the super chats and your support. Ridley, Cooper, or Watson. I'd go Ridley. All boom or bust here. I'll just side with the Jags offense in that one. Cooper or Tank Dell. I would go Tank Dell, Billy. I don't trust Cooper with PJ Walker today. Henderson Jr., Ramondre, or Javonte Williams. I would go Ramondre. No, I'm going to go Javonte Justin. We got Billy repeating multiple times. If I see it again, I'm going to put him in timeout. Foreman or Wandale. Definitely Foreman for me, Matt. I think you super chatted that. And again, thank you for that support. Full PPR, Dell, Rice, or Higgins. I would go Dell really quick. Full PPR, Tank Dell or Amari Cooper. I would go repeat. I'm putting Billy says it like 18 times here, so I'm going to put him in timeout so we don't have that question. It just puts it away. Put user in timeout. See ya, Billy. Been a while since we did the timeout thing here. Alrighty. Aaron Jones or Darrell Henderson? Definitely Aaron Jones for me there. I would go Ben Tomsick, Javonte Williams, Foreman, or Bourne. I would go Foreman and I do like
Tomsick's lost his stuff.
I would go Foreman and Javonte.
Not funny anymore. No video chats.
Yeah, what the hell, Tomsick? He's used to be like the best of super fans, and now he's mediocre at best. Jordan Love versus Min or Stafford at Dallas. Stafford, I guess. I don't know, Daniel. It's close. Pickens or Downs. I would go Pickens, Mike Clay, but I do love Downs matchup on the slot there. Zay Flowers or T. Higgins standard. I'm going to go Zay Flowers there. A.L. Bundy, Pierce, or Madison. I would go Madison very slightly. Don't like either. Okay. Jack Olivia, Zay Flowers or T. Higgins standard league. I would go Zay Flowers. Russell Wilson or Howell. I'd go Howell, A.L. Bundy. Tank Dell, Cortland Sutton, or Calvin Ridley. I'd go Cortland Sutton, Savage. You're welcome, Impossible. Matt Steve, my Memphis was already answered. Javonte, Stevenson, Jones, Foreman. I would go Javonte, need two. I would go Aaron Jones and Javonte, I think, Matt. Ridley or Hunt. I would go Hunt there. I think full PPR, though, Ridley gets a little safer, but so boom or bust. I don't know. Probably Hunt there. Reported Mahomes was sick. Start Mahomes or Goff. Goff is one that's interesting. Like if you have Mahomes or Goff, I could see you playing it safe with Goff at that point, especially if you're a favorite. You want the guaranteed points tester. Like this could ruin Mahomes' week, but and similar to this one, like Aiden asking like Cousins or Mahomes. Again, I could see it, but 90% of the time, I'm just going to roll Mahomes and hope he just kind of powers through this thing. It's Pat Mahomes. It's Pat Mahomes against a Denver defense that's been atrocious too. So I'm just going to keep that ripping. Cooper, Rice, Downs need one. I would go Josh Downs there, Diamond Dave. So yeah, we bob around. One more minute, we'll pack. I'll see if I can get through these all here. Zay Flowers or T. Higgins, standard league. Jack, repeat, another timeout. You're welcome. Thanks, guys. Omar, you're the man. Thank you for your support. Tank Dell, Tank Ridley, Foreman, or Tank. A bunch of tanks there. I like Foreman the most out of these options there, but I do really like Tank Dell today. Rice with Snow or Darrell Henderson, McLaughlin, Roschon. I'm going to go Rice there. And then Foreman, Hunt, or Warren. I would go Ronald Mikos. I think I go Foreman there. I feel I've gone Foreman a bunch today. I still like him tonight. I think I'm going to try to control the clock, bleed it out there. All righty, that wraps it up. 12:45. It is time to get off, get my own lineup set. Wolfpack, awesome show. Tons of you here today. On your way out, thumbs it on up. If you're new here, ton of new names. Please do consider subscribing. We'd love to have you here and continue to grow the Wolfpack. I go Foreman over Hunt, Charlie's Gills on our way out. Best of luck. Enjoy your Sunday. And Me and Truth should be live for a recap show a little bit later, 7:40 tonight. See you guys. Best of luck.